Ladies and gentlemen, the greatest hip hop rap battle we've ever received has concluded. As the great Aubrey Graham and, of course, the best modern day rapper have officially battled on record, and now, as the masses, we get to announce a winner. As the public perception is the part where the battle is decided. Because these two gentlemen laid out their nuclear tracks against each other, and now it's up to us to basically decipher each track and decide who came out on top. Throughout this whole coverage of the beef, I kept saying Drake's main target is business and pleasure. Throughout his entire diss track, as far as rebuttaling the Like That verse, as far as rebuttaling the Euphoria and 616 in LA track, business and pleasure has been the main focus. Now for Kendrick, I cannot say the same, because the whole aspect of Kendrick's diss is hard to cement as far as fact. But what's not hard to cement as fact is what Drake said. So objectively speaking, from obviously I'm a Drake stan, but if you listen to my Euphoria review, I was thinking Kendrick had something in the tuck that was just completely undeniable. And now, after seeing the nuclear tracks laid out for the public to consume, it has been apparent and obvious that Kendrick was indeed just bluffing. As I'm going to lay out the verses, I'm going to lay out the rebuttals, and we're going to get into the overall facts, and you can decide. Don't even let me deter you from picking a winner as far as if you think Kendrick won, if you think Drake won. My job at the end of this episode, basically, because so much dropped that this is basically a whole episode in itself. So after this, in the conclusion of this episode, all the facts will be laid out. We have went over line. Of course, if something flew over my head or if something was obvious but I didn't get it, at the end of the day, I am human. But for the most part, I feel like I've dissected each and every track and picked out the most important disses towards each other. And of course, as far as a rapping aspect, I still think that Kendrick is a better performative rapper as far as putting words together, being a master of his craft when it comes to putting words together. He is still superior to everybody, which is why I've always called him the best modern day rapper. So of course, when it gets into diss land, it's a little different from putting words together. It's about information and also what can you reveal to the public to make them change perception about the person you're talking about. So if you listen to my last review, which literally dropped this morning or earlier today, basically Kendrick came back again and spun the block twice like there was nowhere to park. Shout out to 21 Savage, as 616 in LA was basically Kendrick doing what Drake did on Taylor Made Freestyle and poking fun at Drake and spinning back to basically pinpoint some things as far as going at him. But what he kept doing was basically insinuating that all the information that he gathered was from
the nigga you be hanging with. The nigga you be hanging with.
The OVO crew. He literally said in the track may be working for him. So essentially, Kendrick said,
the nigga you be hanging with. The nigga you be hanging with.
But guess what? It's a continuation of that drop because, of course, from the feedback, it seems like the people loved it. So I'm going to keep using it. But Drake obviously took that into consideration and flipped it tenfold. Now, that goes back to the whole business versus pleasure, because if you're looking at Analytic Dreams video on Spotify, you would have noticed that I have a particular Instagram account up. And who is this person, you might ask? Well, that's a phenomenal question, as we are going to explore the overall premise of this human and how she was the biggest deciding factor in my decision on who came out in this back and forth. Because let me tell you something, business and pleasure being the focal point of Drake has even more credibility when the person who's your fiance is also co-signing some of the things that your enemy is saying. So when it comes to that aspect, a lot of things that Kendrick was saying on his track with Meet the Grams as far as giving family advice, it seems that he should have took it for himself, as a lot of the crusp of Drake's diss is basically came from,
Yeah, the nigga you be hanging with. The nigga you be hanging with.
look how we've came full circle. Now, let's get into the actual details, because I know y'all are probably wondering, what in the world does this woman have to do with this beef, right? Also, once again, Analytic Dreams video on Spotify to see the video along with the audio. So let's lay out the facts. The biggest diss towards Kendrick is that the person, hold up,
Yeah, the nigga you be hanging with. The nigga you be hanging with.
the person he be hanging with, aka Dave Free, a name that was dropped, which means that he has some type of specific information on Kendrick. He's not just saying,
Yeah, the nigga you be hanging with. The nigga you be hanging with.
he is saying specific names towards Kendrick that he himself knows is true. So anyways, Dave Free, who is heavily involved with the rapper Kendrick Lamar, co-founded the creative company PG Lang after leaving Top Dog Entertainment, where he served as co-president and directed music videos and short films with Kendrick Lamar under the name Little Homies. So these guys have been together for the longest. Some would say that,
Yeah, the nigga you be hanging with. The nigga you be hanging with.
so whenever getting into the rest of this track, you have to realize Drake is pinpointing names. He has receipts. I have receipts. We are going to lay this out. And also, to be fair, getting into Kendrick's crusp of his argument, I've went over on different segments, but when we get to the line in his diss track, I would definitely address them, as I'm no PR team for either rapper. I just looked at the information presented as a hip hop fan, and I was like, Kendrick, my brother, for every black point you talk about, there's 10 more to rebuttal or to rebut that with, because a lot of things happen in the past, and it seems like your fiance hasn't gotten over them and you still want to talk about family. So if you bring up family and you have some obvious loopholes, some obvious weaknesses that somebody can pinpoint and target, well, guess what? They're going to do just that. So anyways, let's stop beating around the bush. Whitney Alford is Kendrick Lamar's wife. Kendrick Lamar and Whitney Alford had 2 children, a daughter born in 2019 and a son born in 2021. Keep in mind, the reason I preface this with Kendrick bringing up family is because of what we're about to get into. So because Kendrick brought up family, guess what? Kendrick went low, Drake went to hell. As the speculation is that regarding the paternity of their children, it's in question, simply for the fact that Dave Free is allegedly the father of the 2 children with Whitney Alford, not Kendrick Lamar. Now, you probably are thinking, that's blasphemous. You're a Drake stan, right? That's why I kept shouting out Analytic Dreams video on Spotify, because I'm just going to throw something up right quick. I think that's the account I just had up. So this is connected to this account. Whitney Alford, she's Kendrick Lamar's wife. Drake name dropped Dave Free. Dave Free is supposedly the baby dad of Whitney Alford's 2 kids that Kendrick claims, because that would look wild, right? I mean, that's your fiance, your high school sweetheart, right? And then come to find out, I mean, maybe my eyes not working, so maybe y'all could tell me what this look like. I mean, these are receipts, right? This is not just saying.
Yeah, the nigga you be hanging with. The nigga you be hanging with.
These are actual receipts, which is why I respect this approach much more, because it's actual facts along with the raps. It's not just cap like Kendrick was trying to say Drake was gonna have. Kendrick was saying on the top of Euphoria, "Don't tell no lies about me. I won't tell truths about you." Well, my brother, it was the complete opposite, because it seems like your fiance has chosen a winner. And surprisingly, plot twist, I might add, it wasn't you. Kind of crazy, ain't it? But anyways, if you're not watching, which you should be, because Kendrick fans are going to be in denial. So if you don't see it for yourself, you probably won't even understand what I'm saying right now. Whitney Alford unfollowed Kendrick, but guess who she is following? Literally seconds after the beef nuclear tracks dropped today. Shortly after, guess what? Whitney Alford unfollowed Kendrick and followed Dave Free. Now, why in the world would she do that right after these nuclear tracks when she knows the accusations that have just been made? It's almost like there's some credence and she's low-key co-signing what Drake just said. So if Whitney Alford, who's Kendrick Lamar's fiance, unfollows Kendrick and continues to follow the alleged biological father of her child, Dave Free, allegedly, then it's like, whose argument, whose diss track holds more credence? Because obviously bringing up Kendrick's diss track, the whole fictional aspect of a daughter, I mean, who is this man, Stan Lee? Like, he's just creating fictional characters to respond with disses. Like, his diss tracks are and consist of creating fictional characters. So that's why I can't respect it, because as a student of hip hop, best believe I'm going to break down these lyrics. Kendrick fans love to say, "Oh, only high IQ can listen to Kendrick. You know, you got to go to Harvard. You got to go to Stanford to listen to Kendrick. You got to be in the you got to have a doctorate to listen to Kendrick to understand Kendrick." Well, guess what? This is high level breakdown as far as Kendrick and Drake. And from the receipts, because I definitely look for it, we definitely have the whole aspect of Drake's dad being robbed. We have that aspect. So I'm not just being one-sided. I looked up every single line that they were saying, and this is what I came up with. So I'm sorry, Kendrick, if what you said was just complete blasphemy, because I didn't think that you would just blatantly lie like this, right? So anyways, so yeah, that whole aspect is the biggest thing with Drake. And going at this is Dave Free's account, by the way. If you want to follow this man, you know, go comment, be like, "Thanks for helping my boy prove why he's the GOAT." If you want to go comment, this is his page, Dave Free. You know, just say, you know, "Thanks for holding it down. You know, congrats on being a dad," stuff like that. Anyways, so Drake and Kendrick, the diss tracks towards each other. Let's just get into it. Drake. No, okay. Where's the timeline? So Jermaine started this whole diss with First Person Shooter. Allegedly, First Person Shooter was supposed to have Kendrick on it, which is why Kendrick said on Euphoria, try to send a feature request, but we still have some stuff to address. I forget what he specifically said. But hold on, let me pull it up, because I don't want nobody saying I ain't keeping it 8 more than 92. Let me see, Euphoria. Because this stuff is easily searchable. It's not like no hidden passcode that you have to be a part of the FBI to get a part of, to get a hold of. So, anyways, yeah, okay. Let me see. Let me just feature. How many more? No, that's not it. Surprised you wanted that feature request. You know we got some stuff to address. This is a PG podcast, so I'm going to replace the curse words with my own words, obviously. I mean, other people can cuss, but, as far as for me, my personal values, I don't really use cuss words that often. Anyways, surprised you wanted that feature request. You know that we got some stuff to address. That was referring to the first person shooter track, which that track obviously came out last year and did tremendous on the charts, I might add. But it was also supposed to have Kendrick. So let me see. So yeah, that track. So technically this beef started October 6, 2023. How ironic, right? Kendrick is supposed to be on that track, turned it down, and guess what? Jermaine started shooting at him. He was like, oh yeah, I think it's Big 3, but really it's just me because, oh no, it wasn't. That was Kendrick. Jermaine was like, people say is it K-Dot, is it Drizzy, is it me, but right now I feel like Muhammad Ali, basically saying he's number one and basically excluding Kendrick in the following lines, saying that the Spider-Man meme is me looking at Drake. So with that being said, that goes with this timeline of Kendrick getting the feature request, turning it down, and then Jermaine was like, well, at this point, if he ain't trying to be a part of it, it's just you and me. So then the Spider-Man meme line came about. So this whole beef started in October 6th because honestly, they didn't have to name Kendrick at all. But of course, they probably had some animosity towards him turning down the feature, especially Jermaine. If there was anybody that could get Kendrick and Drake on the same track, I would think it would be Jermaine. I mean, not on Drake's project, probably would have been like on Jermaine's project. But, So yeah, that's where it started. So that's why the whole aspect of, apologize to J. Cole. Everybody needs to apologize. No. Jermaine raps about wanting to be number one, talking about how he can destroy everybody in the lyrical battle, and then talked about how the Spider-Man meme is him and Drake. And then when time came, as far as Kendrick calling them out, like, no, it's no Big 3, it's just me. Guess what? Jermaine responded, and quickly, he expeditiously apologized, which is why that man is indefinitely in hip-hop timeout. So no apology is to be sent to Jermaine because he started the beef. It's like starting a fight and then running off. Like if he would have never started the fight and Kendrick would have came at him, he would have seemed like the bully. Jermaine started this whole thing. This whole thing started because of Jermaine. And now he released 7-minute drill and quickly took it off DSPs simply because it didn't sit right with his spirit, even though he started it. That's almost like throwing rocks and hiding your hands. Actually, that's exactly what that is. Jermaine, I'm going to get to you later. So we're going to put him to the side. He's in hip-hop timeout for an indefinite amount of time. Okay, so that being said, getting back into the real battle rappers in this sport and actually holding hip-hop at a high level as far as taking it seriously and not for granted like Jermaine did. So yeah, Kendrick basically put out Meet the Grams. Oh wait, hold up. We're doing a timeline. I'm tripping. So yeah, Jermaine started the beef and For All the Dogs. And then of course, Kendrick responded and Like That, which if you don't remember, Like That came out on a phenomenal album. I mean, that track to this day, is one of the greatest hip hop tracks of all time. As far as totality, quality wise, beat wise, lyricism, melody, everything is literally at a level to where in totality, it may be the greatest hip hop song of all time as far as what the ramification was and what came of it, right? So anyways, that came out March 22nd, 2024. So we went from October 6th, 2023 to March 22nd, 2024. So you have to follow me throughout this timeline to now because we're covering this whole thing. Because I think this is the conclusion. I mean, there's no other nuclear than, well, we're going to get into the other part about his wife, which is still crazy that there's more to reveal. But hey, like I keep saying, Kendrick fans are delusional because at this point, the facts are in front of you and you just don't want to look at it. Hold on, let me put this picture up again. Who is this? This is Kendrick's fiance, right? My fault. I must have forgot or something. I had to pull up this receipt just to remind myself again. Anyways, we just gonna keep that up there. So March 22nd, 2024 is when the Like That track came out and basically set the world ablaze, deservedly so. I think it has an argument to be the best hip hop track of all time. That's how substantial and just how impactful this track has been over time. It's gotten better with time, which the classics usually do. So, anyways, that's where this beef continued because, of course, everybody remembers. Kendrick said, forget the big three, it's just Big Me. So everybody, we don't need to go over that verse. Everybody knows who he was talking about. Everybody knows what the whole premise was. He's like, ain't no kumbaya, it's just me. Like, ain't no big three, it's just Big Me. So from that, then we get Jermaine. So now, Jermaine starting the beef realized that he probably had to respond because why in the world would you not respond to somebody directly rebuttaling a verse that you gave out by saying there's no big three, it's just Big Me. So, of course, April 5th, 2024, Jermaine put out 7-minute freestyle. Now, of course, it's off of DSPs, but, you know, whenever it's on the internet, it can never be deleted. So it's on the internet if you want to look it up on SoundCloud, YouTube, things of that nature. But as far as DSPs, Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music, things of that nature, it's not there no more. So he put out 7-minute freestyle April 5th, 2024. And like it hurts me to say this and it's because, you know, throughout the history of this podcast, everybody knows that I don't have the highest opinion, the highest favor of Jermaine. So for him to just prove me right, it's just boring. Because at this point, like, I've been proven right with Jermaine being a fraud. So now it's just like, what do I do now? Like, next time he puts out a project, it's just going to be like, well, hope he's not rapping about being number one. And then that's it. Like, it's just boring now. Like, he's just going to rap about folding clothes again. Anyways, so yeah, he came out like a day or two after at the Dreamville Fest and in front of all of his core audience, because it's the Dreamville Fest, so it's his own festival in front of all of his fans, and he came out and apologized and said that's some of the lamest stuff he ever did in his life. The diss didn't sit right in his spirit. All that stuff that contradicted him rapping about wanting to be number one, rapping about the Spider-Man meme is me and Drizzy, which is basically excluding Kendrick based off of the information I just gave of Kendrick getting a feature request to be on that track. So now he didn't take the feature request. So now you're dissing him, excluding him from the big three, saying it's just you and Drake. And now, because of all the beef you started, and also putting out this 7-minute drill freestyle, which you didn't even have to put out. If you never put that out and just said, don't sit right with my spirit to diss Kendrick, then that would have been fine. But you put out a diss track, everybody heard it, and then you recanted your statements. At that point, my brother, you are in hip-hop timeout for an indefinite amount of time. I'm not going to say you're a disgrace to hip-hop, because that's a little far, but as far as what KD did from going to OKC to the Warriors after the Warriors beat them in the first round, or in the second round, I forget. Anyways, whenever KD went from OKC to the Warriors, that is Jermaine as far as this beef. He switched teams, basically said that because of our beef not being that serious, I'm just going to bow out and let you and Drake battle, which that is a complete cop-out for somebody who started this entire beef. So Jermaine and Jermaine fans, y'all have to be quiet for the foreseeable future. All right, so hopefully we don't have to get into no more Jermaine after this. I think that's it for Jermaine. Then here comes the GOAT, right? Of course, it's like Rocky whenever he gets done in a training montage. Here is time to get into the ring. It is time to put up or shut up, which is basically what Drake said in a OG version of push-ups, which, you know, as far as the timeline of DSPs, push-ups was put out April 19th on DSPs, but I think it was a day before as far as everywhere else, because technically it was, I'm tripping. Okay, hold up. We got to follow the timeline. So before that, Metro dropped again, because that's why Drake was waiting so long. So Metro dropped again, an album titled We Still Don't Trust You, which is basically going off of the fact that he's gathered the Avengers to go at Drake. The whole industry versus Drake. First album, he had Kendrick as the highlight diss person towards Drake. Second album, he has The Weeknd as the highlight diss person towards Drake. I mean, talk about the Avengers. There's a reason why we keep calling Drake Thanos. These are the top of the top teaming up to go at Drake. Like, I don't think people realize or even ponder how crazy that is. But anyways, so after getting Kendrick for the first one, now he has The Weeknd going at Drake, basically singing how his shooters are making TikToks and he has leaks in his operations, right? So when that came out, April 12th, 2024, Drake responded with a quickness. And now I remember just off of the top of my head, I believe it was April 14th, because it was less than 48 hours, I believe. So it had to been like April 14th. And then Push-Ups hit DSPs even after that. So Push-Ups actually came out April 14th. But then as far as DSPs are considered, and clearances and things of that nature, it was released on DSPs April 19th. So anyways, the biggest thing with that is April 14th was a leakage, and that is a play off of what The Weeknd was talking about as far as having leaks in your operation. The OG version of Push-Ups was not supposed to release like it did. If it's still on the internet, you would know if it's the OG version if it says get money over and over and over. It's like in the beat using Tupac type essence. I think it was the hit 'em up. Yeah, definitely the hit 'em up. As far as get money. If it says that throughout the beat, that's the OG version of Push-Ups. The new version is more of I think it was Life After Death sample, if I'm not mistaken. As far as the new beat. And there's like it's just better, it's better mixed and mastered, of course. So with that aspect, Drake finally responded to everybody. And I say finally, but he was basically waiting for all the Avengers to finish dogpiling him and teaming up to hit him. It was almost like, to give another superhero team up analogy, it was like when Captain America and Winter Soldier was like going back and forth on Iron Man. He was like, all right, well, let me get my bearings together and then I'll fight back, right? So now he put out Push-Ups, basically going at everybody who dissed him. Kendrick, Future, Metro, The Weeknd, A$AP Rocky, Rick Ross. I mean, goodness, all this for one man? like, do y'all not see what in high regard they hold Drake in? Like, this is insane. Like, why is everybody teaming up against Drake? And after the nuclear bombs have been released, as far as these tracks, I still don't understand what causes all this team up just for this. Like, for you just to be bluffing about certain things and not have any real information, how do you team up on somebody and they still beat you? It's like KD going to the Warriors and then them getting outplayed by OKC. Like, how you leave the team that you thought was inferior to team up with other people and you still getting beat? As far as Future, Jermaine, any of those people could have been KD in that analogy I just used. Because think about it. You're going to another team, teaming up with the biggest artist in the world, going back at somebody who you believe is just fraudulent or whatever, and he still finds a way to come out on top. At this point, if y'all don't give the boy his credit, then I don't know what to tell you. But anyways, all right, so let's fast forward. Well, not fast forward, but let's continue. So that was April 14th to April 19th as far as Drake putting out Push-Ups. Then Drake, okay, so I don't actually remember when Taylor Made came out. Drake Taylor Made Freestyle, because I think that was the next one. Because Kendrick still hasn't responded, did not respond. So then we had, hold on, I'm gonna mute this so it don't play the song. But I want to see the release date. It says 2 weeks ago. That doesn't help me. I need more specific. Okay. I think it's storming outside. Dang, it's setting the mood for this breakdown display. All right. April 20th, 2024. Oh, dang, he spun the block twice. So okay, basically came the day after. So the day after he came and put out Tailor Made Freestyle. After the official release of Push Ups on DSPs, he the following day put out Tailor Made Freestyle, basically begging Kendrick to drop. I mean, you can't get more of a pleasantry type of introduction to a beef than what Drake did with Tailor Made Freestyle. He begs you and motivated you to drop in the form of your idols, your LA idols, when it in regarding Tupac and Snoop Dogg. So that was such a masterful use of AI, even though a lot of people are a little iffy about AI as far as the ramifications it could have in the long haul as far as music, which we're already seeing with four bats, but that's a whole nother discussion. So as far as this specific freestyle, as far as Tailor Made Freestyle, I believe that it was getting Kendrick to respond. It wasn't a diss track just yet. It was getting Kendrick to respond. He was basically holding his cards while also pinpointing some things he was going to target, which is why he kept following up with certain things about Whitney. I be with bodyguards like Whitney. We're gonna get to that in a second. You know, I brought up this thing with Day Free, which y'all probably like, oh, that's crazy. I ain't know that. Just wait, I got way more. It's just wait, it gets deeper. So, anyways, when Drake actually said, let me see, was it Family? No, it wasn't that one. Give me 1 second. Tailor Made. When Drake was at the end of Euphoria or the end of this one, Drake said, "Soon as you get the courage to drop, I'm out on the loose." So that's not what I'm talking about. Drake Push Ups. It was at the end of Push Ups. It's just a simple point I want to make, but I wanted to bring it up first. So when Drake actually said at the end of this track, "This ain't even everything I know, don't wake the demon up," right after he dropped the real implication on where he was going to take the beef, as far as "I be with bodyguards like Whitney." Let me pull up. "I be with some bodyguards like Whitney. Top say drop your little," hey, he was talking to him. It was a lot of vitriol on that verse. But anyways, the whole "I be with bodyguards like Whitney" is obviously a callback to how, should I even say it yet? I kind of want to save the suspense, but we in it now. So this is just this is the whole review. So anyways, let me get into it. So Drake hinted at Kendrick Lamar's wife, Whitney Alford, cheating on him with a bodyguard. And this was way back in the past. Like, this wasn't like nothing new. This was something he been held in the tuck. So Drake is a very meticulous person, and he wouldn't have been talking like this. I was wondering why Drake was on social media so much bragging, talking about this, talking about that. It's because he has some real hard evidence that I think should change the overall perception of Kendrick's whole Black Lives Matter movement, or just Black empowerment movement, when he's out here with Snow Bunnies 24/7, looking like the second coming of an anti-Dr. Umar, right? Dr. Umar, if he was to choose who won this battle, guess who he's choosing? Obviously Drake, because actually he wouldn't choose neither of them, because he don't mess with none of that. So he would have chose like, we don't even have a rapper that's just pro black no more. Like Kendrick just, anyways, let's keep going. All right, so Popstar back in 2020. This is when Drake also hinted at the whole Whitney aspect. So this was years in the making. I don't think y'all realize how big this rap battle is. This has been decades in the making. I mean, I think there was a tweet out there where when Kendrick co-signed Pusha T, as far as it was like back in 2018, like, "Just know I feel the same way, Pusha T," or something like that. Hold on, let me see if I can find it, cause that was actually wild when I actually looked that up. Kendrick, Pusha T. I think I could find it, but it may just be recent stuff, because I think for the most part people are posting about this track that just came out. Yeah, they don't actually have the tweet, which is fine. I mean, I didn't think they would. People are probably comparing Kendrick to Pusha T because of this diss, even though he ain't saying anything. But we're gonna get into it. So yeah, I tried to find it. What was it? Let's just type in story. Because I know he co-signed it as a tweet. It was all the way back in 2018. I'm not gonna spend too much time trying to find it, but obviously, if I'm doing a complete breakdown, I want to at least attempt at trying to find this information. All right, I couldn't find it. So, anyways, oh yeah, back to 2020. July 17th, 2020, Popstar came out. Guess what Drake said? Bodyguards don't look like Kevin Costner, you tweaking. Just pulled up to Whitney, Houston, Texas for the evening. Random line, right? Like, it's just one of those to where, man, Drake really likes Whitney Houston. Because people swore up and down that Push-Ups was referring to the Whitney Houston movie Bodyguards, as far as talking about I be with bodyguards like Whitney. It's almost like Drake had this in the tuck ready for Kendrick Lamar on some Batman type beat, as far as if he ever got out of pocket. So, anyways, let's keep going. So after that, after Push-Ups, after Taylor Made Freestyle, Kendrick finally responded, and he responded in a way that I thought, honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you, honestly, I was a little scared because Euphoria was targeting a lot of things that Kendrick seemingly was going to divulge more info on. But well, we're just gonna get to it. So Euphoria came out. Let's just pull up Euphoria. Kendrick Euphoria. And the biggest thing that I was really hesitant on was the title, because I thought if he doubled down on this and just started naming certain people, if he just started naming certain people that was underage who had alleged interactions with Drake, obviously it's alleged because you can't just come out and call somebody a pedophile. So the whole story of having a track titled Euphoria with Drake executive producing an HBO show titled Euphoria over high schoolers and about their life in high school, you realize where Kendrick is going. Because in Like That, the verse, all the way back earlier this year, he basically said, Prince outlive Mike Jack. And that seemed like a random bar. And I was like, why is he comparing himself to Prince and Drake to Michael Jackson? But now, with the Euphoria aspect, I was like, oh, I see the direction that this is a nasty man. this is a nasty game Kendrick's playing. So when Euphoria came out, I was like, oh, he's finna get into it. He's about to explore certain allegations that may or may not be true, but if you wordplay it in a way, which I was definitely thinking Kendrick was capable of exploring that aspect, Drake could be in trouble because it could put him in a weird light. That's one of those type of allegations to where that actually has some long standing effects if you can put it in a way that people believe is true. So that's why Euphoria for me was the best diss track as far as his timeline up to now. This is the best diss track. All the diss tracks included. The Like That verse, the 7 minute. Well, let's not talk about Jermaine. The Drake push-ups, the first person shooter verse, which that wasn't too hard of a diss. Like honestly, Jermaine started it, but if Kendrick would have just like not acknowledged it, Kendrick fans wouldn't have kept that same energy. Like, imagine if that was Kendrick and Jermaine, they was talking about, oh, it's just us two. It's Spider-Man meme. They would have been like, Drake, you got to respond. Drake, you got to respond. Then nobody say anything after first-person shooter dropped as far as Kendrick responding. Why y'all think that is? So, anyways, yeah. So the Euphoria aspect, was intriguing. And for that, that's why I have it as, well, as far as the timeline currently, that's why I had it as the best diss track in this whole best rap battle we've ever received. So Euphoria came out. I mean, I know it says it right there, but I'm trying to look at the DSPs. Okay, Euphoria did come out April 30th, 2024. So yeah, a lot of things he targeted that I just thought he was gonna explore more to just get into the bars, because a lot of Kendrick fans be like, you gotta be high IQ to listen to Kendrick. Kendrick, it takes a doctorate to listen to Kendrick. Like, they just be sounding crazy. So, anyways, um, what did he start with? Because the pacify line was the one that reminded me the direction that he was trying to go into with the whole Michael Jackson thing. As far as I make music that electrify him, you make music that pacify him. That definitely stood out, because that was the ploy that he basically did implement it in the later tracks, but it wasn't as hard hitting as I thought it was going to be. And also, it's storming right now, so if you hear that, that's what it is. It's not. It's basically adding to the overall setting of this breakdown of the greatest hip hop rap beef of all time. So, anyways, um, let's just hope my system don't shut down. So let's keep going. So Kendrick basically said, everybody want to be Demon till they get chipped by a throwaway. If you don't know, Future's middle name is Demon, and basically Future has a track called Throwaway. So basically hinting at the fact that you was all big and bad, but now your homie turned on you, and now you upset. If people don't understand that, hey, rewind it, listen to it again. I don't know what to tell you. So anyway, let's keep going. His daddy a killer. He wanna be Junior. They must have forgot the stuff that they done, hinting at Drake's overall way of getting into the hip hop industry was through Jay Prince Jr., whose dad is Jay Prince, who is the actual boogeyman in the hip hop industry. So as far as Jay Prince Jr. wanted to be a killer like his daddy, he must have forgot the stuff that they'd done, basically hinting at some of the, foul play that he's calling out as far as the takeoff scenario and things of that nature. Like, there's a reason why Jay Prince and his family went on a whole press run when the takeoff passing happened. A lot of that blame was being put on them, so he had to clear things up. Anyways, let's keep going. So obviously I'm not getting into every verse because this is a 6+ minute. I'm just getting into the heavy, hard, like some of these things are just filled with like one of these, I don't want to talk on no celly, I got language barriers, ain't no accents you can sell me, like, just funny. That's just funny stuff. Like, it's just going at Drake, culture vulturing, things of that nature. Like, it's not too hard hitting. We've heard that before. So I'm just getting into the important top disses from these two gentlemen. So the whooping feed, I never got that line. What was that for? Kendrick whooping feed. Kendrick. It should be noted that Terrence Crawford is undefeated on whooping feet, undefeated in his boxing career, but he doesn't fight too frequently. Whooping feet is LA slang for beating someone up so bad they end up out of their shoes. Goodness. See, I don't know that. I'm not a gangster, so I don't know whooping feet. But hey, for the gangsters out there, I'm glad y'all got that line. Let's keep going. What else? YNW Melly. How's I'm trying to get the hard hitting stuff. Here we go. This is my favorite part. So I like Drake with the melodies. I don't like Drake when he act tough. You gonna make a person bring back Puff. Let me see if Chubbs really crashed something. Yeah, my first one, like my last one, it's a classic. You don't have one. Let your core audience stomach that. Then tell them where you get your abs from. V12 is a fast one. And then he makes a sound effects like bow, bow, bow. Last one. Headshot for the year. You better walk around like Daft Punk. That was my favorite one. That was my favorite flow as far as going at somebody. But what I will say is, once again, this man Kendrick's lying. Ain't no way this man just said, my first one like my last one is a classic. You don't have one. Let me tell you, Kendrick. You could have said anything else, and I would have said that was the best part of not best part, but I would have said that was As far as wordplay, the energy, vocal inflection, things of that nature, I would have said performative wise, that was the best part of the diss track. But of course, you had to put a whole blatant lie in there talking about Drake don't have a classic, which is just blasphemy. So, anyways, let's keep going. I mean, even with hip hop purists, as far as the older rappers is concerned, I mean, they admit Drake has at least three classics. I mean, if we're not talking about Take Care, if we're not talking about Nothing Was the Same, if we're not talking about If You're Reading This Is Too Late, like, come on now, stop that. So, anyways, let's keep going. I'm trying to see what was the other part. Yeah, all these are it's just jokes. None of this is serious. Where's the restaurant stuff? Because that stuff was pretty serious. Teaching, talking about his child. I mean, that's been done before. All these recycle bars. Like, how many recycle bars to Kendrick fans had enough? That's what I want to know. Forget the bars in this track. You know, when he went on that whole phrase, his whole mantra about how many black features till you feel that you black enough? How many recycle bars from Kendrick till Kendrick fans had enough? That's what I want to know, honestly. So, anyways, this was the next deep part of the track when he said the Crody part, talking about I'll be at New Ho King eating fried rice with the dip sauce and a blammy Crody. Basically talking about how Drake was robbed. And I know for people who's new to this, you probably like, how are you coming to these conclusions? I'm a student of hip hop. I definitely break this down to a science, as I'm a fan. You know what I mean? Being a fan leads you to see through a lot of these lines. So the New Ho King is 7 minutes from where Drake got robbed for 500,000 as far as his jewelry, and he's pointing out the fact that he um moves around great in Canada, but it seems like Drake has a hard time moving around, which is a, you know, it's a light jab because obviously that was back in the day. Like, today is not happening because he has super security. Back then he didn't really have security like that, so he got robbed for his jewelry. But nonetheless, it did happen. So kudos for Kendrick pointing it out in a creative way. So New Ho King, 7 minutes from where Drake got his jewelry taken from. What else? So yeah, talking about the family thing, that's why he said the whole New Ho King, because basically robbery, some serious, he basically saying it could get serious for you in your city. So, anyways, if you want to take it there, I'm taking it further. That's something you want to do. That's something you don't want to do, which is reminiscent of Drake saying at the end of Push Ups, this ain't even everything I got, don't wake the demon up. So here Drake is saying, this ain't even everything I got, don't wake the demon up. Here's Kendrick saying, if you take it there, I'm taking it further. That's something you don't want to do. And ladies and gentlemen, it's finally been revealed what these two respective, iconic, legendary rappers were talking about as far as their individual exposés. So let's get into it. The first one came from, oh wait, hold up. I'm fast forwarding. My fault. Kendrick, after Euphoria, put out, was it today? Oh, it was today. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we are today. Oh, that's crazy. Okay, we are today. Okay, so he put out 616 and in LA, but that's not on DSPs, I don't think. 616 in LA. Um let me see. Yeah, that's actually not out on DSPs currently. I did report on it though, so I guess I could just look at that. When did that come out? Let me see. This is actually interesting. Okay. So that track came out yesterday. So May 3rd, which it was released 616, which people was trying to flip all type of triple double entendres as far as the meaning of 616 and why Drake will release it on 616, and basically how, you know, Drake's a mastermind or Kendrick's a mastermind because of that title, you know, things of that nature. They was like, oh, is this the first quintuplet entendre? Like, 616 is Father's Day. 616 is Tupac's birthday. It was crazy. It was like 616 is the premiere date of Euphoria. Like, I was like, okay, bro. Like, we get it. Like, I understand that the title has a lot of double, triple entendres, but what is he actually saying? What is he exposing? What is he doing? What is he actually providing? Besides these title flips as far as Canadian Father's Day and Tupac's birthday and state of the start of the OJ trial and the Nicole Simpson funeral and Father's Day and release of the TV show Euphoria and 2011 Kendrick show in Toronto and multiple Bible references. Like, come on now. Like, come on. Like, numbers can be referred to as anything. Like, it could be put to anything. So I'm not trying to hear none of that. As far as the content, this is what made me realize Kendrick did not have it in him as far as exposing what he hinted at in the Euphoria track. Because Euphoria, I thought, should have been followed up with specific names from the people that was alleged Drake was with underage. Like, if you're going to do that, then go there. With this 616 in LA is a cute attempt at trying to go at Drake in a manner that everybody's going to look at it and basically say, oh, Kendrick's pulling Drake's card. He's actually going at Drake again. He's spinning the block. He's doing what Drake did with Taylor Made Freestyle. But people don't realize Drake was responding to everybody in the mama on push-ups. People don't realize everybody was dissing Drake. The whole timeline is people dissing Drake. Metro, Future put out 2 albums completely pinpointed on dissing Drake. Kendrick was a part of that. The Weeknd was a part of that. A$AP Rocky was a part of that. Rick Ross was a part of that. I mean, goodness. That man was going at everybody on push-ups, so it was not a specific Kendrick diss. And then okay, so here's the track right here. Anyways, and then the follow-up to that with Taylor Made Freestyle was just Drake trying to get Kendrick to go first. Basically, respond to me first, and then I'll go. Because, of course, he didn't know if Kendrick was even going to respond. The world didn't know if Kendrick was going to respond. So now, after Kendrick responded with Euphoria, we officially have a battle. Now we have a battle. We have engaged in actual name dropping and no more subliminals. I'm actually going at you. This is going down in hip hop history as one of the greatest battles of all time because I'm name dropping you now. So this is where we're at. And then to follow that up with 616 in LA still taking jabs, like, no, my brother. Either you're going to go for the knockout blow or you're just going to pack it up and go home and just tell people you don't have nothing for this Canadian. Especially this being called 616 in LA after a Canadian just recently sent you home as far as a LA native. I don't want to hear nothing about LA talk when it comes to Canadians because obviously what Jamal Murray just did to the Lakers, you know, you should probably think twice about going at Canadians being from LA. Anyways, let's keep going. So this track didn't say anything. Basically, Sunseeker, basically talking about, you know, his skin color, his lack of self-awareness, you know, things of that nature. He's basically going at Drake as a man, which you could go at any celebrity as a man because a lot of things you have to do to get on top as far as the marketing aspect. Some people would say their integrity won't let them do it, even though them dollar signs will make them change their mind. Anyways, Kendrick, that was not it. So 616 in LA was basically showing that he was bluffing. And the end of the track made me realize he was bluffing because he reiterated, before you figure out that you're not alone, ask what would Mike do, which if you listen to my 616 in LA Notorious Mass Effect review, I get into this track, basically break it down. This is where the Notorious drop came from.
Yeah, the nigga you be hanging with. The nigga you be hanging with.
Because that's all Kendrick said throughout this whole track. He was talking about, are you finally ready to play Have You Ever? Let's see. Have you ever thought that OVO is working for me?
Yeah, the nigga you be hanging with. The nigga you be hanging with.
Everyone inside your team is whispering that you deserve it.
Yeah, the nigga you be hanging with. The nigga you be hanging with.
Then lost money. It was fun until you started to put money in the streets. Then lost money because they came back with no receipts.
Yeah, the nigga you be hanging with. The nigga you be hanging with.
But war ready. I'm sorry that I live a boring life. I love peace, but war ready if the world is ready to see you bleed. Know the wires in your circle should puzzle you. If you were street smart, you would know, you would have caught that your entourage is only to hustle you. 100 people that you got on salary, and 20 of them want you as a casualty.
Yeah, the nigga you be hanging with. The nigga you be hanging with.
Like, what are we doing? Like, expose something. Like, what are you talking about? Oh, people in your camps, fraud. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure with every multi-billion-dollar corporation, there's probably people in there who don't like the owner as well. Like, oh, whoop-de-doo. You know what I'm saying? Like, he say obvious corporate stuff that people are just blowing out of proportion. So that's why I looked at it for the actual facts, because from an objective standpoint, Kendrick said absolutely nothing. Him saying, oh, also, he went on to say, and one of them is actually next to you, and two of them is practically tired of your lifestyle, just don't got the audacity to tell you. But let me tell you some game, because I can see you, my little homie. You playing dirty propaganda, it blow up on you.
Yeah, the nigga you be hanging with. The nigga you be hanging with.
Putting all the information off as, oh, your friends told me, instead of actually revealing the information, it's definitely a sly tactic. But for somebody like me who can easily see through that, it's not going to work, my buddy. Either you're going to release something and reveal something, or we're just going to act like you don't have nothing to drop. So anyways, that is why I believe we got these rebuttals, these nuclear tracks from the respective gentlemen, because both of them released nuclears, mind you. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying what Kendrick dropped was not nuclear. He definitely had some tidbits that was going at Drake. But as far as in totality, this 616 in LA, when you compare it to that track, you will realize what I'm saying, as he didn't say anything in 616 LA. The battle already started once he responded with Euphoria. So now you know the gloves are off. Drake already told you he out on the loose if you say his name. You said his name, you know he's going to be out on the loose, so your next track should be nuclear. So 616 in LA just simply was not cutting it. Now, after an hour of timeline breakdown for the greatest hip-hop rap beef of all time, now we are getting into the respective segments. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to cover each and every one, and I'm going to review them like they're in their own segment, okay? So I'm not going to use my drop. I'm just going to get right into it. Drake has responded in a way that the overall premise of family has been brought up into the discussion. Kendrick Lamar and the pro-black mantra is looking funny in the light. Keeping it objective, obviously I'm going to lay out the facts. I'm going to let y'all know just how in the world this information is disseminated into the masses, and then I'm going to put it in a simplistic way so you can depict and you can pick who is the winner. Because I'm not here to sway your vote. I'm not here to tell you who won or who did. Actually, I am. I'm telling you who my personal winner is. But that's at the end. So this, if you're listening, is going to, well, if you're listening, then you're listening. That was almost a Interstellar moment. I don't know if it's Interstellar. What's the Inception? I'm tripping. What is Interstellar? I'm tripping. I don't know what that is. But anyways, that was almost an Inception moment. Family Matters is basically Drake pinpointing some of the loopholes in Drake's whole being a therapist as a diss mantra. This character that Kendrick has made for himself as far as going at Drake as a man. I mean, what's less than being a man, right? It's hard to be a man if you're out here as a man putting hands on women, right? So hopefully we all agree with that. I would think that's an objective. If you put hands on women, you're not a man. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get into something that is the crust of this track, and which is why I believe it put my GOAT at a level to where he can never be competed with again. Like, he can never be combated, and he can never be rebutted, or as far as people sending him a rebuttal, because of the way he was able to withstand all of the Avengers teaming up. And then at the end, like as far as Endgame, when Doctor Strange was, no, in Infinity War, when Doctor Strange was looking at all them outcomes to find the one where they came out on top. Well, guess what? This was all the 900 billion opportunity or scenarios where Thanos came out on top, because Drake completely obliterated the Avengers and saved the best for last as far as Kendrick, and tore him apart limb by limb. As talking about being a therapist, talking about the family aspect is something that it's something that Kendrick was putting up, as far as the whole 616 in LA, and going at him as not knowing who he is, not being comfortable with himself, not being a man, but you're out here putting hands on women. Analytic Dreams video on Spotify to see the video along with the audio, because I have receipts. Unlike Kendrick, which we're going to get into his diss track in a second, I have actual receipts. So, this account right here, if you're watching, let me just tell you something. It's a lot of interesting things in society, but one of them is who one chooses to mate with for the foreseeable future. Now, Kendrick, interestingly enough, had a high school sweetheart named Whitney Alford. And this couple supposedly shares 2 children, right? So, how ironic and how surprising to find out that the kids is supposedly not Kendrick's. Well, what? Like, how might that, how could that happen? What blasphemy are you speaking right now? Let me explain. Drake and Family Matters name drops a certain name because, of course, unlike Kendrick, who kept saying,
yeah, the nigga you be hanging with. The nigga you be hanging with.
Unlike Kendrick, we actually come with receipts, and we don't just keep saying the people you hanging with. So let me find this. Let me just type in the name. So yeah, you know what I mean. When you drop receipts, you can just look them up by name in the verse, right? I heard that one of them little kids might be Dave Free. Don't make it Dave Freeze, because if your GM is your BM secret BD, then this is all making plenty sense to me. I don't think y'all understand. Y'all don't understand. Kendrick fans out there, like, you can't objectively look at this information and say that Drake isn't on top. The wordplay, the exposure, and then obviously, I know what you're saying. Drake's lying. Oh, there's no way. Drake's lying, right? Oh, follow me. Now we got more. Hey, we got more. I'm gonna be here all day. You know what I'm saying? I do this for a living. You know what I'm saying? Hey, just follow me. Let me take you over here right quick. You know what I mean? Whitney Alford. You know what I mean? This is his wife's account. There's a reason I had this account up so you can see the username. You see Blush by Wit, right? We see Dave Free right here. Just check. Go follow him. You know what I mean? Comment, be like, hey man, I appreciate you giving Drake the ammo he needed to stay the GOAT in this rap game. So make sure to go follow this man. He's at 108,000. Let's try to get that to like 200, something like that. Let's keep going. So yeah, this right here, man. Let me zoom out right quick. Should I zoom out or zoom in? Which one y'all want? Zoom out, zoom in. Let me zoom in right quick. Who is that? Is that this account? Dave Free? Oh, that's Dave Free. Okay, I'm tripping. Okay, that's the username. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. Hold.
I know that ain't who I think it is.
Hold up. Who is? Hold up. Give me 1 second.
I know that ain't who I think it is.
Nah, it can't be. Hold up. Let's go to the username. Gotta be fake.
I know that ain't who I think it is.
Okay, it's not. It's not fake. It's the same username. Why she not? Hold up. Isn't she? Isn't that Kendrick's fiance?
I know that ain't who I think it is.
Why is his soon-to-be wife not following him on Instagram? And then why is she?
I know that ain't who I think it is.
Oh my goodness, Kendrick fans, I know y'all in shambles. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I had to break it down like that. But if I didn't break it down like that, y'all would just call Drake a liar, you know? So if you didn't know, if you're not watching the video version, you just missed out on some top tier comedy. As this fiance, Kendrick's fiance, to be more specific, shortly after these nuclear bombs was released from Drake and Kendrick, unfollow Kendrick and follow Day Free, which gives even more credence to the fact that I heard that one of them kids might be Day Free. Don't make it Day Freeze, because if your GM is your BM, secret BD, then this is making all plenty sense to me. Checkmate. It's over. That's it. That's it. I mean, it's literally it. I mean, if you really want to get into exposure, as far as you're hiding a child, let that boy come home. I mean, there's nothing worse than this. Raising a child that's not yours. I mean, if that's just, if that's just not public information, then why talk about family? Why act like you're a therapist towards Drake when it seems like the whole time your girl was getting therapy by somebody else? You know what I'm saying? And now it's been exposed to the point where this is rap at the end of the day. And of course, none of this is too serious, but goodness, I can't tell. The way that Drake just went at you, my brother, you may have to go to some alternative actions. So, with that being said, Drake completely exposed him and then doubled down on that at the end, because if you don't know, that wasn't even it. That's not it. Oh, you thought you thought that was it? Oh, my fault. Nah, that wasn't it. No, that wasn't it. We still going. We still going. So, anyways, this is my favorite verse in the track, by the way. Where does it start? It's fantastic when you actually drop receipts instead of keep saying.
Yeah, the nigga you be hanging with. The nigga you be hanging with.
All the information that you keep saying is coming from.
Yeah, the nigga you be hanging with. The nigga you be hanging with.
Well, guess what? The person you was hanging with, the person that's the co-founder of the creative company PG Lang, after leaving Top Dog Entertainment along with you and been co-president and directing music videos and short films with you, has also been with you in other ways. I'm not talking Eskimo, but maybe I'm talking. Anyways, let's keep going. So, anyways, Kendrick. Let me just say, leave this one alone, my brother. It's over. It's finito. Drake really doesn't have to drop again, because you really didn't rebut it in your diss track that we're about to get into. But let's just keep going, right? This line was wild. I have to point this out as a Drake stan. I don't co-sign this. This man said, "You right. Forget the big three. It's only Big D in this video proof." That just cements that you leaked that video, my brother. And Drake, you need help. That's not something to brag about, my brother. Let's just keep going on. So the reason why this is my favorite verse is simply for the fact that this man ended off with the biggest bomb ever. Don't tell me that K Dot and C Breezy is the same person. This man Drake said, when you put your hands on your girl, is it self-defense because she's bigger than you? Your back is up against the curb. You're digging for dirt. You should be digging for proof. Why did you move to New York? Is it because you live in that bachelor life? Proposed in 2015, but don't want to make her your actual wife. These are surgical bars that y'all are hearing right now in one of the greatest rap beefs ever in history. That's why I'm reading it off like this, because this is going down in the history of time to be one of the greatest diss tracks ever created. This track is better than Back to Back. As far as a diss element and revealing something, I mean, is it your girls tour or your world tour? That's way less impactful than, hey, the kid that you keep saying is yours is not yours. It's your homie who literally co-founded the creative company PG Lang with you, and now your fiance unfollowed you and followed him. I mean, goodness, I would hate Drake too, my brother. Like, after this, hey, I get it. I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk, the way that you dress, the way that you say the N-word, I guess. I mean, goodness, I would hate him too, because this is next level diabolical information that this man is dropping on your head top. Let's keep going. So, why did you move to New York? Is it because you live in that bachelor life? Proposed in 2015, but don't want to make her your actual wife. I'm guessing this wedding ain't happening, right? Y'all not hearing this, man. Y'all not hearing him. I'm guessing this wedding ain't happening, right? Because we know the girls that you actually like. Your darker secrets are coming to light. It's all on your face, like what happened to Mike. And then this is where he just left Earth. This is where he left the stratosphere. It's all making sense. Maybe I'm Prince and you actually Mike. Michael was praying his features would change so people believe that he's actually white. Top made you do a feature for change, get on pop records and rap for the whites. Masterful callback to push-ups, talking about how Top Dog had him, forced him to do features with Taylor Swift, Bad Blood, and Maroon 5. What was the, hold up, let me, I know the track with Taylor Swift was Bad Blood, but let me see, Maroon 5, Kendrick Lamar, because Kendrick Lamar is pro-black, right? So why is he pandering to the other community doing these features, right? I mean, I thought, hey, maybe I'm mistaken, but I thought Kendrick was just pro-black to the point he would never try to get into another culture for an increase in revenue, right? So, anyways, he did a remix with Taylor Swift and Bad Blood, and then he did a track with Maroon 5, Don't Wanna Know. Let's keep getting into it. Where's he at? Top would make you do a feature for change, get on pop records, and rap for the whites. And wait, you say you say your brother Jermaine, but wanted him to stay out the light. Let's do a little Google search right quick, cause maybe Drake lying, right? Michael Jackson ain't got no brother named Jermaine. Come on now, like come on now. There's no brother of Michael Jackson's named Jermaine. Like it's just no way, cause Drake's obviously lying. I don't even know why he would say something like that. Because come on now, like, wait, Jermaine Jackson served as the second lead vocalist in Jackson 5, and as Michael Jackson pursued his solo career, told his brothers to stay out of the. Top will make you do feature for change, get on pop records, and rap for the whites. And wait, you say your brother Jermaine, but you wanted him to stay out of the light. Does Kendrick have a brother? Kendrick doesn't have a brother. Drake's lying. Does Kendrick Lamar have a brother? There's no reason. Like, come on now. Like, obviously Drake's lying. Like, he's not just rapping about factual stuff that's happening. You know, as far as Kendrick, look, Sharon. Like, come on now. Like, let me find this. As far as his older brother, see his older brother's name is Kendrick Kenneth Duckworth, right? So that means he's definitely, he's that. Oh, it says he has more siblings. Hold up, maybe. Give me 1 second. We just doing some Googles. Hey, public internet for everybody. You know what I mean? You can look this up yourself. Kendrick Lamar brother. Let me see. He don't have a brother called Jermaine. Let me see. Kendrick Lamar. Yeah, it don't even seem like he got. Yeah, he ain't got a brother. He don't have a brother called Jermaine. I think Drake was lying with that one. I'm literally looking it up. I'm trying to find it. If I don't find it, I'm calling Drake a liar. I ain't gonna cap to you. Let me see. Yeah, it seems like Kendrick has 5 siblings. Okay, it don't. Okay, so he has 5 siblings. 5 siblings. What are all their names? He has 5 siblings. Okay, Kenneth. Okay, Dewey, Duckworth. Okay, Kayla, Sawyer. Okay, um, 2 younger brothers, but their names have not been officially publicized. So technically, Drake could be telling the truth, and his younger brothers could be Jermaine, and that's probably what he's talking about. Okay, so let's type in because I'm honestly looking for it. I'm not like I'm seeing stuff that is going what Drake was saying as far as him having a brother named Jermaine. Jermaine. Uh, I don't find it. I can't find it. So I guess Drake was lying. My brother Jermaine. Is he talking about Jermaine Cole? Maybe he's talking about J. Cole. I'm not even trying to cape for him. I'm trying to see where the angle is. Okay, so that stumped me. I ain't gonna cap. I don't even know where he was going with that one. But maybe he's talking about J. Cole. Cause apparently after Jermaine put out 7 Minute Drill, he called Jermaine, basically told him that these the disses that he wants to throw at Drake is too nasty that he doesn't want Jermaine to be a part of it because he doesn't really have real beef with Jermaine. So maybe that's what he's talking about. Your brother Jermaine, but you wanted him to stay out of the light. Maybe he's talking about that. Actually, let me see. What does Genius say? I didn't even. The whole time I could have just clicked on this Genius link. Let me see what they said. Oh wow, it's J. Cole. It's not even talking about his brothers. Hmm. Well, he does have 2 younger brothers whose names is not. So I just thought it was that. But obviously, we see right here, after some research and then Genius, we figured out it was just Jermaine the whole time. So this man said, and wait, your brother Jermaine, but you wanted him to stay out of the light, which is obviously, I don't know, that's all right, because technically it's not your biological brother. So, I mean, they're friends, but I don't think they're brothers. They ain't not cool like that. Just follow me, right? Because nothing you say can bother me, right? And then talking about all his chains and things of that nature. And then at the end, what does he say? There's nowhere to hide. There's nowhere to hide. You know what I mean? No, no way. They hired a crisis team to clean up the fact that you beat on your queen. That's like physical, ain't it? The picture you painted, it ain't what it seems. Your crisis management team cleaned up the fact. Man, if only I had some more information about that. Analytic Dreams video on Spotify to see the video along with the audio. What is this flyer, you might ask? Oh, I'm glad you asked. I mean, I don't know how this information fell in my lap because obviously I'm just somebody on the internet who's a fan. You know what I mean? I don't really have no I don't really have no information on these people, right? So I don't know how this flyer. I mean, this flyer could be made up. You know what I mean? Look, Photoshop. You know what I'm saying? It could be Photoshop. Not too crazy. But who is that? DJ Who Kid? Wasn't DJ Who Kid on the start of Push Ups? I thought he was just using it as a drop. There's no way that Drake was using DJ Who Kid because that was the party in 2014 at the Hard Rock Casino in Vegas where Kendrick Lamar Kendrick Lamar was investigated for allegedly brutally beating a woman and leaving her bloody in a room in a hotel. That can't be it. That's not it. Allegedly, that's not it. Nah, that couldn't have happened all the way back in 2014. No way. I mean, nah, right? He could be lying. But this flyer does say Hard Rock Hotel, and then it happened in 2014 as far as his flyer. And then the alleged was 2014 Hard Rock Hotel in Casino Vegas. Maybe I'm tripping. Nah, no way. Kendrick didn't beat no woman. Kendrick don't put hands on women. He pro-black. I rest my case. Kendrick, never talk about my goat again. And if you do, just know it could get nastier. And some of the stuff you talk about is very hypocritical. Hip hop is hypocritical, but if you're gonna point it out, just know we can go down to the depths of hell as far as the information we could pull up on you. So with that being said, click my link tree in my bio. Let me know on one of my social medias. What was your favorite bar from Drake just completely dismantling Kendrick Lamar, winning the overall beef, and how are we gonna celebrate as far as for my OVO fans out there? Now, of course, to continue with the overall review of the greatest hip hop rap battle of all time, we have to keep it fair and analyze the disses that was thrown towards my goat's way in regarding Kendrick Lamar. As this man put out a track expeditiously with the quickness in response to Drake putting out Family Matters. Now, I'm not recapping anything about Family Matters, as I already talked about Family Matters in this whole recap of the greatest rap battle ever, and also in a specific segment, Family Matters, Analytic Dreams. But just know the way I broke that down leads into the way I'm going to break this down. So with that being said, Meet the Grams, which happened after Family Matters, is basically rapping from the standpoint of a therapist, which is completely ironic, but completely creative at its highest level as far as the perspectives you could take with. I heard somebody once say that if Kendrick was to replace himself with Joyner Lucas, everybody would call it corny. But because it's Kendrick, they let it pass and they give it a pass. So why is that? The world may never know. But anyways, let's get into the track, right? Meet the Grams. Kendrick dissed Drake and dissed him from the perspective of his respect. He dissed Drake from the respective perspective of Adonis therapist, and then he dissed Drake from the perspective of Sandra's therapist. Like, imagine just sitting down and writing out, "Dear Sandra, dear Adonis," and then "Dear baby girl." Like, you just making a fictional. Why is Kendrick making up fictional characters? But anyways, we're gonna be objective because we're gonna get into it, right? Like, maybe Drake is a deadbeat. Maybe Drake has a kid, right? So obviously, Kendrick should be able to expose something that we could publicly look up, like Drake did with Family Matters. But hopefully we can look something up as far as Kendrick going at Drake. So the biggest thing about this diss, because obviously I didn't go over the whole Family Matters, I'm not going over this whole diss track. Basically, the hard hitting diss points is basically throughout this verse. If you want to get into the whole Kendrick calling Drake a pedophile type thing, we could get into that, and I've already covered that and extensively. But basically, there's a lot of instances with Drake and underage women as far as on stage, but it's more of a performative aspect, and there's no damning video as far as going at Drake and him having sexual intercourse with an underage person. Because of course, if you're gonna call somebody that, you better have some type of proof that they were in the act, right? And so, because of the law being that way, public displays of affection towards underage people, while it is disgusting in any light, you still can't just come out and legally call somebody a pedophile. So he found a lot of creative ways to call Drake that, but he never said it verbatim. So anyways, because he started off with the whole, being Sandra's therapist, basically talking about your son got sick thoughts like him and Weinstein. Hold on, where's Weinstein? Let me find this. Basically, he literally said him and Weinstein should get messed up in a celly for the rest of their life. He hates black women, which is super ironic. He hates black women, hypersexualizes them with kinks of a nympho fetish. I thought, yeah, it's crazy. Grew facial hair because he understood being a beard just fit him better. He got sex offenders on OVO that he keep on monthly allowance.
Yeah, the nigga you be hanging with. The nigga you be hanging with.
I hope y'all just realize how consistent I'm being in my coverage of Kendrick Lamar. No longer can you keep saying,
yeah, the nigga you be hanging with. The nigga you be hanging with.
He got sex offenders on OVO that he can keep on a monthly allowance. Brother, drop a name. Who are you talking about? All of this,
yeah, the nigga you be hanging with. The nigga you be hanging with.
It's not gonna cut it. Drake is dropping names. You know what's a name that you should probably look up? Day Free. That's a name you can look up, my brother. There's no.
Yeah, the nigga you be hanging with. The nigga you be hanging with.
The kid that you thought was yours was actually Day Free. That's actual evidence you can look up on the internet, my brother. And ask yourself why your fiance is now following Day Free and unfollowed you because in the aftermath of the Family Matters track. Why, you know what I mean? Just ask yourself certain questions and then get back to telling the truth instead of lying. Instead of saying,
yeah, the nigga you be hanging with. The nigga you be hanging with.
So anyways, that's the most upsetting part. Because once Euphoria came out, I thought we was going to have like a real battle. And I thought we was going to get stuff that was hard hitting to the core as far as changing public perception for the long haul. Calling Drake a pedophile, which we've already heard the claims. Obviously, if the claims been around that long, you would think it would came to light. But there's some claims with you, my brother, with you putting hands on your wife. We didn't even talk about that yet. And that hasn't come to life. So obviously stuff could fly under the radar, right? So you calling this out, say names. Like how Drake said Day Free is the father of the child you're claiming. Say a name like Drake's underage person that he messed with. Like say a name and put actual effort into exposing somebody. Saying the person you hanging with, oh, he got OVO goons, sex offenders that he keeps on monthly allowance. Like a multi-billion-dollar corporation, I'm pretty sure somebody they've hired has some type of criminal past. Like, come on now. So anyways, let's keep going. So he says that whole aspect of, Drake being a pedophile, that's his whole thing. That's all he has. Because a lot of people are like, oh, Drake has a daughter, which goes back to Kendrick talking about how he doesn't want to call around to get dirt, which in all actuality, you did, my brother. Because let's look up something. I said I was going to keep it 8 more than 92. I definitely am. How in the world? Oh, my fault. Analytic Dreams video on Spotify to see the video along with the audio. How in the world do you get this man's Ozempic pills if you're not calling around for information? What is this, Kendrick? Why is this your cover art? Like, how did this much effort go into a cover art if you're not calling around and having a team put together your rollout? The hypocrisy is beyond crazy because to add on to that, if you're not calling around, then how did your camp rob Drake's dad to get gloves, Ozempic, receipts, etc. stolen from his suitcase? Seems like you are lying and got caught in the lie once again. I love how this cover art is just him being a liar. I'm not calling around to get information. Well, seems like you made a call to get an innocent bystander robbed for all of this random stuff as far as Ozempic pills and things of that nature. Like a man caring about another man's body to the point where he's pulling up pills and prescription. Like my brother, if you want to have sexual intercourse with Drake, all you got to do is just DM him. Like it's really not that hard. Like Just send him one of the duck face, kissy face emojis to his Instagram, and he may or may not respond. No Diddy. You know what I'm saying? So that being said, let's keep going because that was it. Now, as far as Kendrick and his whole aspect of, the family side of Drake not really keeping it 100 as far as not knowing who he is with himself, not battling both sides of his nationality with his mom and his dad, and then this fictional character. I mean, are you Stan Lee? My brother, who is the baby girl? If you said a name, if you said the mother, if you said where they live, we could look up this stuff and we could prove that what you're saying is right. You are not saying no words. You're saying baby girl. You're talking about his music. You're saying you're speaking in such bland, in such broad scope. It's such a broad scope. You're not saying no names. And then no information came out. Like how Drake said Day Free and then your fiance unfollowed you and followed Day Free, basically insinuating that Day Free is the father of your kid. Stuff like that. If you would have just said a name, we could look it up and then we could be like, dang, Kendrick dropped some tea. Kendrick actually has something to rebut that with. Because at this point, y'all teased the nuclear tracks for the longest. They're out. The information is out for the people to see. You've had the whole industry backing you. You've had Rick Ross, Metro, Future, Weeknd, ASAP, everybody on your side. ESPN, TNT playing your track while LeBron putting up air balls and things of that nature. Actually, not air balls. Hold up. LeBron's the GOAT. Who was I talking about? Paul George. That's my fault. Paul George putting up air balls and stuff. They putting up a Euphoria diss track while that promotion was going on. It was apparent that everybody wants you to win, but obviously not enough, my brother, as all you have to do and all you had to say was things in specifics so people could look it up and give credence to your argument. But since you're talking in broad scopes, since you're not saying anything about Drake, since you're just calling him brand labels like a pedophile and people shouldn't have the kids around him, like, what are you saying? You're not specific enough. And that is why I believe at the end of the day, Family Matters is a much more impactful song than Meet the Grams. Because from a creative aspect, you did some Jordan Lucas therapy from the kid's perspective type stuff. But at the end of the day, you dropped no names. You talked about a man in a light that made us seem like you wanted to have sexual intercourse more than the minors that you accused him of being with. So anyways, drop a name. What did Drake say? Drop a name or shut your mouth? Like, that stuff's crazy because you really not being specific, and it makes it hard for me to say it's an actual battle when Drake is dropping names, people whose name he's dropping is following up on his, following up with actions which co-signs what he's saying. Like, if you have Drake's baby girl, please put her out to the world, or like let us know, like take care of her, do something. Like, you talk about all that family stuff. How about you take her into your family if Drake not taking care of her? Like do something. All this talk, but your family. All right, I'm done, man. Drake won. I don't want to sound like a bully or sound like I'm getting into nasty territory because this is hip hop beef, and at the end of the day, you have to go with the mantra that when they go low, you go to hell. You know what I'm saying? And that's basically what Drake did. So yeah, I'm satisfied. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's just another reason that Drake is the GOAT. I'm so glad that Kendrick actually gave me this battle to showcase how Drake is the actual GOAT, way more calculated than Kendrick. And hopefully one day Kendrick will learn that just saying,
yeah, the nigga you be hanging with, the nigga you be hanging with,
is not going to cut it in a battle with the greatest hip hop artist to ever live. And at this point, one of the greatest rap battles to ever live. So I'm so glad the conclusion of it was Drake coming out on top, because if Kendrick fans think any different, best believe we could definitely, I'll double back if y'all have some information. Like, please tell me what I'm missing, because I don't see nothing. And I've been Googling all type of stuff. That's why the whole Ozempic, Drake's dad getting robbed, that's how I knew about that, because I'm looking for actual facts that Kendrick is talking about. But he just making broad claims that Drake is a pedophile and going from the aspect of him having a baby girl that he's not claiming. Say the girl's name. You see how Pusha T said, you're hiding the son, let that boy come home? Hold up. Because I don't think, hold up. Let me see. I don't think y'all understand how it's effectively done as far as dissing Drake. Pusha T's story of Adidon. You're just not specific enough, my brother. And let me show you an example of how to be specific. You see Drake with blackface? This is how you diss Drake right here. This is classic. Blackface on Drake. And hold on, I don't even want to look for it. Where's it at? All right. We're talking character. Let me keep with the facts. You are hiding a child. Let that boy come home. Deadbeat playing border control. Adonis. Adonis, Kendrick. Specific names, Kendrick. You can't just say, dear baby girl, I'm sorry your father's not active. No, Adonis is your son, and he deserves more than Adidas press run. Real specific facts we can look up. Kendrick, I am disappointed. I'm so disappointed. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm done. So I just showed y'all an aspect so y'all don't think I'm just being a Drake stan. This is how you come at Drake. Being specific, with things that Drake is uncomfortable with. And I felt like Kendrick was going down that route with Euphoria, but the way he dropped the ball, I mean, hey, thank you. I'm so glad you solidified as Drake as my GOAT for the foreseeable future, as there's really no other artist on your level that lyrically and commercial wise could go at Drake. So now that you've lost to Drake, hey, what Thanos said, all your failures brought you right back to me. So, of course, to finish off the timeline of the greatest rap battle to ever occur in hip hop, we have a victory lap as the GOAT, my GOAT, who obviously destroyed Kendrick and the back and forth, put out a Buried Alive interlude part 2. I mean, talk about a full circle moment. Talking about bringing a man on his first tour, having him open up for you, bringing a man on your classic album to have him give some bars off, and guess what you get in return? Somebody who's just ungrateful, going at you and just literally says, I hate the way you talk, I hate the way you walk, I hate the clothes you wear, I hate everything about you, and you the one that put this man on. I mean, at that point, jaded is not even the word. I wouldn't help a soul ever. Imagine me and Drake giving somebody all the tools and they use those tools to spite you. Anyways, so this is a victory lap. So this is gonna be more of a lighthearted. I'm done with the name dropping as far as the family stuff, as far as, Kendrick's fiance, things of that nature. I'm not gonna get into that anymore. Cause I mean, there's no more need for a reminder that Drake won by basically exposing that Kendrick's kids is not his and his day freeze, and it's followed up by his fiance, who's Whitney Alford, unfollowing him on Instagram and following Day Free. There's no need to point that out or even speak on that, right? So, yeah, we're just not going to speak on that because no need to bring that up. No need to reiterate why Drake won this battle. So anyways, let's keep going. So the victory lap. If you were in the Pine Box, which if you don't know, I mean, before you listen to the segment, listen to Buried Alive interlude, and then this makes just ultimate sense in the world. Like as far as the creativity level, the callback is like the death of Kendrick overtaking Drake. It's like the perception that I had when Euphoria came out is completely vanished, and I finally realized that my GOAT is who he said he is. Anyways, if you were in a pine box, I would shovel dirt on top. I'd play this record on repeat. You always been, I take out cuss words because it's PG podcast. You always been a female dog to me. If you was in a pine box, I would still be in my spot. For you to make it to the peak, it'd have to be the death of me. The death of me. Looking in the mirror, still embarrassed. Stop talking, how you gonna spare us?
Yeah, the nigga you be hanging with. The nigga you be hanging with.
Let me repeat that for the public. Stop talking, how you gonna spare us? And remind you, this is a double back, so this is an interlude. Everybody talking about how Kendrick dropped at the same rate as Drake. Like, no, he can't. He can't keep up. And at this point, the beef is over. Drake literally dropped some of the more nuclear aspects to Kendrick's career. I mean, I didn't even get into, I wasn't going to bring it up because, I don't want to get into that territory anymore because after covering the best rap beef of all time and covering the nastiness of what was revealed as far as Kendrick putting hands on his wife all the way back in 2014, which is where this flyer came up with, do I still have it? I don't think I still have it. Oh, my fault. I must have grew up. Yeah, I must have, oh no, I found it. I didn't grow up that much. Here we go. Yeah, this flyer right here, as far as Kendrick wanted to sweep this under the rug, which is why Drake hinted at this as far as the whole Who Kid drop at the start of Push Ups. Basically, it's a very interesting insinuation because why in the world would you talk about DJ Who Kid when it was a festival and supposedly Kendrick. I don't think I have it anymore. Hold up, give me 1 second. I think, yeah, I did say I was done covering it, so I think I put it away. Okay, here we go. Hey, just like me to bring it right back up. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah. So this whole DJ Who Kid at the start of Push Ups wasn't just because he randomly wanted to shout out a producer. It was a callback to this track, simply basically saying Kendrick had a lawsuit back in 2014. His management swept under the rug allegedly. Of course, you gotta say that because there's no like proof, and if they swept it under the rug, could have been settlement. So now nobody can talk about it. But hey, here I am. So 2014 at Hard Rock Casino in Vegas, Kendrick Lamar was accused by a security guard who worked at the Hard Rock Las Vegas of receiving video claiming that Kendrick Lamar being investigated for allegedly brutally beating a woman and leaving her bloody in the room in a hotel. Very morbid, right? And very serious. And that's why the whole aspect of Kendrick being a therapist is something we had to double back on because your family is non-existent, my brother. Why are you living a bachelor life in is in New York? I think he's in New York. Anyways, wherever he is, LA, New York, I think he's in LA. Basically, he's not with his family because, the whole day free aspect. I've already talked about that. But yes, the whole putting hands on his woman, it seems like a very toxic relationship. So, anyways, let's put that away. You know what I mean? No need to reminisce on why Drake's the GOAT. So back to our victory lap. Where's it at? Okay. It's like you need tension to always get attention. You always said how you want to bury me alive. Jealousy disguised as your pride. Took you on your first tour with us, trying to catch a vibe. I was headline. You was standing on the side. It's so funny because all this is true. If you don't know, Drake, all the way back at the beginning of his career, around the Take Care days, basically took Kendrick Lamar and A$AP Rocky on their first tour ever and let them open up for him. Think about that. Anyways, let's keep going. I swear, like, if Kendrick had stuff that could look up and be like, "Oh, Drake, he got you right here," I would do it. But this man just keeps saying,
Yeah, the nigga you be hanging with. The nigga you be hanging with.
This man don't say anything in specific. The only time he want to get specific is just to say,
Yeah, the nigga you be hanging with. The nigga you be hanging with.
which we've came to the conclusion that it's not specific at all. This man is just bluffing. So, anyways, first time people lined up for your expletive. Now you saying two boys getting out of line. You've been hating hard for a very long time. It feels like Twitter ghostwriting your reply. Streets out here talking like at least a person tried. It's how you felt in 2011. Why are we wasting time? Dreams come true, Crody. This is where you die.
But then, you know what I'm saying? I was like, damn, look at the state of hip hop. Like, what's going on?
The best rap battle in hip hop history has finally concluded. And in my personal, humble opinion, after laying out all the facts to you, Aubrey Drake Graham has came out the victor. So let this be a nod to the competition level brought by both gentlemen. Very commendable as far as them putting forth such effort and diss tracks towards one another. But as we've seen with time, one person had actual names with receipts, and the other person just kept saying,
Yeah, the nigga you be hanging with. The nigga you be hanging with.
the stepdad of the year is back at it again, as the track Not Like Us is another direct shot at Drake, aka Aubrey Graham. As the diss track from Meet the Grahams in response to Drake's Family Matters diss track was not enough, as Kendrick felt the need to respond with another diss track. Now, of course, Analytic Dreams video over at Spotify to see the video along with the audio. I wonder why he will feel the need to respond again if Meet the Grahams was so potent, like his fan base was saying. Of course, I am an objective critic, but I'm also a Drake stan. So when it comes into the overall totality of things, I try to gather the information and put it out in a way that you can make a decision for yourself. So, of course, I'm straightforward about who I have as a favorite as far as just an artist overall. But as far as this battle, I'm presenting the information as it's given to me. And basically, Kendrick's whole argument for this entire battle is just,
Yeah, the nigga you be hanging with. The nigga you be hanging with.
so of course, when it comes to that, when Drake actually shouts out names and is specific, going at Drake, I mean, he's not. Hold up, let me type this into this response, because surely he would have responded to this part, right? I mean, if somebody calls you a stepdad and says your kids is not yours, wouldn't you respond? It's almost as if what Drake said was true. But we're going to get down that rabbit hole, because I'm not going to take too long, because at the end of the day, I respect this. You know, if you're going to blatantly be bamboozled like this and led astray, then why not just make a hit song out of you being misled, right? Just make the lies a hit song and then everything will go away. Except there's people like me who actually study hip hop and will point out how you are not responding to anything that Drake is saying. So, of course, the whole aspect that Drake isn't or hasn't responded to the whole pedo allegations, because I said even I was straightforward in the best way to come at Drake. It was that way, and then what was the other way? They was going to go at his body getting done, which I don't know why that's such a pivotal point for grown men, you know, about how somebody else takes care of their body. But I thought the whole Euphoria route, which is why when you look up Euphoria Analytic Dreams, is why I reviewed it like that. I thought Euphoria could have been such a pivotal shift in this diss track, but it seemingly has went down a different direction, as it's not about Drake, it's about,
Yeah, the nigga you be hanging with. The nigga you be hanging with.
Kendrick, I need you to ask yourself if you're beefing with Drake or OVO Chubbs. It is either or. You know, at the end of the day, the people you keep in your entourage to protect you may have a history, and that's why they're there to protect you, because you know that they will do non-law abiding things to protect you when it comes down to it. Now, as far as the pedo allegations, I'm not speaking on that aspect. I don't know about the whole OVO Chubbs being registered or things of that nature, but at the end of the day, is it Drake versus Kendrick, or is it OVO Chubbs versus Kendrick? And about the perception or the direction of saying the people in your camp should not be in your camp because of certain allegations. Well, if that's the case, then gangsters that you're around shouldn't be around you because they're out here killing people. So let's just be 100. So anyways, the biggest thing I want to get into is the thing that Kendrick doesn't want to get into. So I finally figured out that Drake has inevitably won this battle. unequivocal, because the whole Day Free aspect is and has not been retorted. So Day Free, being Kendrick's fiance's baby dad, is something that the public did not know. Drake released this to the public, said names, showed receipts, and if you go to, isn't it weird that Kendrick's fiance right here, which is Whitney Alford, isn't it weird? Maybe I'm tripping, right? But wouldn't you be following the person you're about to get married to? Like, maybe if you type in Kendrick on Kendrick's fiance's page and you realize she's not following him, and then you type in Day Free and then realize this is the guy who Drake is talking about, which I'm not going to click on it because I already have the account right here. But she's following this guy who Drake says right here, don't make it Day Freeze, because if you're GM, which if you don't know, Day Free is basically in creative partnership with rapper Kendrick Lamar, who co-founded the creative company for PG Lang after leaving Top Dog Entertainment, where he served as president and also directed music videos and short films with Kendrick Lamar under the name Little Homies. It's almost like he turned the whole
the nigga you be hanging with. The nigga you be hanging with.
against you. It's like he turned that whole mantra of the people with you against you, because obviously if your GM is your BM, secret BD, then this is making a lot of sense to me, Like, goodness gracious, we done cracked the code, ladies and gentlemen. And so, of course, throughout this whole track, as you can see right here, I'm not even, objectively, I typed it in. Dave, let's see, Whitney, let's see, dad. Like, he just not speaking on being a dad no more? Okay, I guess not. I guess he's just not retorting anything that Drake's saying in Family Matters, which is why I'm covering this the way I am. This man ultimately made a hit song out of public knowledge about him collaborating with people in the music industry. It's a media game. Everybody collaborates to get some type of self-gain. It's a win-win for everybody. If it wasn't, they wouldn't collaborate. Y'all think Drake was the Canadian out here being upheld by Atlanta, by Texas, by the real street gangsters just because out of the goodness of their heart? Of course not. Jay Prince and his son found Drake, thought he was talented, pulled him in, so he had real street ties before he started to get features from quote-unquote street rappers, because he already had the cosign from Jay Prince. So the whole aspect of you're a culture vulture is not true, because I don't think he would have got a Jay Prince cosign if he didn't think he was authentic, if that answers anything. So anyways, the whole culture vulture aspect is invalid, especially when Drake is literally saying names about who's your dad, your child's dad, and you're not responding. Because of course, at the end of the day, if we're specifically focusing on rap, Kendrick is the better rapper. I always say that Kendrick Lamar is the best modern day rapper. The way he puts words together is second to none, and it's on full display on each of these diss tracks. I mean, it's the vocal inflection, the ability to change on an instant when it comes to flows, a lot of different I think I said already inflection, but the way he raps, he makes it seem way easier than it is. Listen to one of your homeboys try to make a rap about somebody else, and you'll realize what Kendrick does is at a mastery level. It's like watching Kyrie Irving. He makes dribbling the basketball seem easy against professionals until you try to dribble the basketball against a professional and realize it's not that easy. That's how Kendrick is when it comes to rap. Just the ultimate perfecter of the performance aspect of rapping. I'm just sad that the actual exposing and being specific with the details didn't come with it. Because of course there's a lot of things that go down, right? And I don't have a lot of time to talk about this because, I try to have life, outside of this Drake and Kendrick beef. Like, these men are dropping every 2 seconds, and I ain't got time for it. So what I do got time for is basically to talk about how Kendrick just got straight up bamboozled. So Kendrick Lamar was fed misinformation, and this is just random, right? I don't know how I know this. It's just, stuff I'm just going to put out in front of you, and maybe you should probably take this and ponder for a little bit. Kendrick Lamar was fed misinformation by Drake's team. So there was a mole in Drake's team, and they couldn't figure out who it was. And so that's where this picture started to come around. Drake's daughter, right? So paid actor, as far as a girl acting like she's Drake's daughter, to go around. You can look up her Instagram account if you would, but I don't know why you would look up the account of 11-year-old. That's why I used the picture, because I'm not going to her account. But this is just to show the different aspects of how they put her in different scenarios to try to make it seem like they trolled Kendrick. Well, not tried, they did troll Kendrick. Put her in the All My Life music video. I think she popped up at other places. Obviously, she's in the Family Matters video, which, once again, Drake is just showing you how he's leaps and bounds ahead of Kendrick when it comes to dissing and being a chess player as far as the strategic moves. So anyways, let's keep going. The restaurant aspect, as far as Gun Ho, I forget what he said, Gun Ho, something like that. The place where Drake was robbed, it was 7 minutes from the place Drake was robbed. Basically, Drake already rapped about that all the way back at For All the Dogs Deluxe Edition on 8 a.m. in Charlotte, which basically said, you try to rob me and it's gonna feel like you're sitting at your favorite restaurant. And guess where this man was whenever Family Matters dropped? The place that Kendrick was talking about. So if you don't know this place, let me just pull it up for you, because at this point I think people are in denial. So I keep it 8 more than 92. So unlike Kendrick, who keeps saying,
Yeah, the nigga you be hanging with. The nigga you be hanging with.
we're gonna actually get into lyrics and locations. So anyways, let me see. Okay, so I think he said blammy. Let me just type that in. Yeah, here we go. I be a new Ho King eating fried rice, dip sauce, and a blammy crody. This is Drake and his entourage at New Ho King, basically showing that they're just as comfortable as Kendrick, and all that stuff that he was talking about really doesn't make sense, because he fell for the whole, you're gonna talk about me getting robbed and then talk about, the restaurant and things of that nature, which he said all the way back in 8 a.m. in Charlotte, which, if you look that up, was on the deluxe edition of For All the Dogs, which came out last year. So anyways, let's keep going with the real hard information, because there's a lot more. What else? And this is all response and retorting what Kendrick said, because as far as Kendrick's whole diss track, Not Like Us, the whole premise is lying, calling him a pedophile and making it a hit song. No proof, no names dropped, nothing. So, hopefully, he can deal with actual specific details being dropped about his family and, in this back and forth. So, as far as the sleeping pills, if y'all don't remember, I brought up this picture, right? Oh my goodness, hold up. Okay. Analytic Dreams video on Spotify to see the video along with the audio. These were interesting to see on Kendrick's Meet the Grahams cover, as far as it being an expose, because people was like, well, Aubrey Graham has pills and Kendrick knew that, so it must be true. Come to find out, they're sleeping pills. And it is a callback to when Drake said, Cole losing sleep on this, it ain't me. So basically, all of these things that Kendrick has on his album cover, the track cover for Meet the Grahams, is basically making fun of Kendrick. The shirt on the cover, if you haven't noticed yet, is called Shorty Collection, making fun of Kendrick being short, size 7, call back to that. The overall, let me see if I can find the rest of it. The Maybach gloves is diss at Kendrick. The pills is a diss towards Kendrick, as far as, the Maybach gloves is a diss towards Rick Ross, and the pills is a diss towards Rick Ross, and the fact that the weight loss thing, which is why Drake talked about the Ozempic side effects on Family Matters, because of this stuff right here. Like these, if y'all think Kendrick actually was getting stuff like at some point, you just got to realize that Drake was just 10 steps ahead of this man. So anyways, that's why they kept saying that it was Aubrey Graham's name, because it was sent to Kendrick. Anyway, we're gonna keep going because I don't want y'all to, we're gonna keep going, right? We're gonna break this down like a kilo of you know what. The third Easter egg, the shirt. Oh, yeah, I talked about that. Yeah, Kendrick's short. Everybody knows that. So that's why I said Shorty collection. I don't know why people didn't notice this. The people who say you need a doctor to listen to Kendrick, I thought we would have pointed this out. But anyways, let's keep going. The alleged daughter, of course, completely fake. Drake put her as a paid actor for the mole to give that information to his opposition and then for them to actually use it. Because at some point, Drake was trying to figure out who in the world is telling people this stuff. Because Drake has a big team. He ain't know who it was. So I finally figured out who it was by having Drake have her at multiple places. So as far as, let me go back to it. As far as, did I delete it? Oh, supposedly this is the guy who's the mole, but I don't know. I'm not 100% yet. But anyways, as you can see right here, this is the background of the video. As you can probably tell, it's very reminiscent of the paid actor that Kendrick claimed was Drake's hidden daughter. Did y'all realize that Kendrick hasn't brought up that point anymore? Like, we just gonna act like Kendrick just lost and then nobody said it. Like, nobody keeps the same energy with Kendrick. That's the only thing about being objective for me analyzing things. Drake's my favorite, but if this was flipped and Kendrick was leading Drake astray, I would call it out the same way and just be like, Drake, you got exposed. Drake's literally exposing Kendrick and showcasing you how he's exposing Kendrick, putting this paid actor as as his child or daughter, putting her in the back of music videos just to show just to spread misinformation so that the mole in his camp will end up being revealed. Let's keep going. Another Easter egg. Let's go to Whitney Alford. So basically, the whole captioning of Mirror Time, which if you don't know, is when he put up his son holding a mirror to his face, was basically talking about how the harsh critique will be constructed around family issues, simply for the fact that Kendrick's fiance always posts cryptic IG captions, letting the world know that it's not everything that it seems. Like, behind closed doors, she goes through you know what. And for Kendrick to be such pro-black and for him to speak on family as far as trying to give Drake advice, it seems like he could have used this exact same sentiments that he was trying to give to Drake. Anyways, once again, Kendrick's fiance, that's why the whole line, the biggest line for me that probably stung Kendrick, because he still hasn't responded to this. He ain't say Dave Free. He ain't say Dave and Buster's. He ain't said nothing that rhymed with Dave. And this man specifically said, proposed in 2015, but don't want to make her your actual wife. I'm guessing this wedding ain't happening, right? I mean, y'all really have to understand that Drake was surgical with this entire diss track, which is why he ultimately won the beef. If Kendrick comes out and debunks the Dave Free rumors, then I will come back and say, all right, the score is even now, because the whole pedophile allegation, that's just completely false. You're just saying that for shock value and you have no receipts whatsoever, right? So if you're not going to say people's name, then we're going to go back to Drake saying people's name: Dave Free, Whitney Alford, your fiance, 2015, wedding was supposed to happen, didn't happen. Now she's following Dave Free moments after he dropped Family Matters. What does that mean? Maybe she's co-signing what Drake is saying. All right, let's keep going. Hey, Kendrick fans, don't be in denial, man. Just make sure Kendrick never goes at the GOAT again. That's basically it. That's basically all y'all need to know. So, what else? I think that's basically it. You better have some paperwork or that stuff is fake tea. Oh, that's rebuttaling the whole pedophile allegations. Because, imagine another rapper, imagine Drake calling Kendrick a pedophile and just being completely accepted for it. You know what I mean? Like, no receipts, no names, no nothing dropped, which is just insane. As far as the jewelry aspect, it's from when A$AP Rocky used to be at Popular Jewelry. So basically, if you don't know, A$AP Rocky is unofficial ambassador at Popular Jewelry, and basically Rocky, whose real name is Rakim, because people thought he was just comparing him to the rapper Rakim and how he looks. No, he actually is like, his name is Rakim Myers. If you didn't know that, then now you know. But anyways, that's why. Hold on, let me go back to the picture. So we're pinpointing everything that Kendrick is trying to pinpoint back at Drake, right? Popular Jewelry. Rocky, unofficial ambassador for Popular Jewelry Inc. That's basically poking fun at A$AP Rocky. If you notice, a lot of things are poking fun at different people. The shirt is for Kendrick. The pills are for the pills and Maybach logos for Rick Ross, poking fun at him. Popular Jewelry is for A$AP Rocky. Y'all think Kendrick's poking fun at A$AP Rocky now? Like, is that like, how are we gonna spin this one, Kendrick fans? Like, let me know. Let me know what we doing. So anyways, and then of course, lastly, this part of the Easter egg where everybody just thought, Kendrick was surgical with how he went at Drake. Basically, this is going at Pharrell because he used to work with Nadine Chosen before, and Drake was basically exposing this and how he flexes changed. In as far as the evidence, you could see that in totality, Pharrell working at Nadine Chosen, fine jewelry, going back to the whole aspect that Drake said in his Family Matters track, if you want Pharrell's legacy, come get it out of my house. Where y'all think he bought it from? Anyways, so yeah, Rick Ross in the corner, the pills, we have the weight loss, the shirt, which is poking at the fun jokes or the short jokes as far as Kendrick. The pills, the sleeping pills is basically referring back to Drake on Family Matters, saying that he doesn't lose no sleep like Cole or whatever. Because, Cole went on that terrible, apology when he said he's losing sleep. He hadn't slept. He realized how great he was sleeping, which is why Cole's in indefinite timeout. And then this one right here, Popular Jewelry and the Nadine Chosen. Basically a Popular Jewelry where A$AP Rocky used to work. Nadine Chosen is basically Pharrell used to work. And guess what? Both of them got bars off of Family Matters. So this whole thing is just Kendrick probably taking a picture and being like, hey, I'm going to use this against you. And the audience fell for it. When in all actuality, Drake was playing this man the whole time. And he's been ahead of Kendrick this whole time. And then if y'all don't believe that, I'm going to end off the segment because we've already spent too much time on somebody who's just getting completely outperformed when it comes to strategic moves. If y'all don't believe me with that, let's just pull up something right quick. Hey, I want y'all to go back to that Family Matters music video, right? And then realize who this woman is, the ring she's wearing, and how Drake got it as a necklace. And with that, I'm gonna leave y'all with that. I'm just basically gonna leave y'all with that. So click my link tree in my bio. Let me know one of my social medias. List out the top 3 reasons for why Kendrick should never mess with my GOAT again. And for all the Kendrick people who said Drake was going to lose this diss battle, I just need an apology expeditiously. Try to get that to like 200, something like that. Let's keep going. So yeah, this right here, man. Let me zoom out right quick. Should I zoom out or zoom in? Which one y'all want? Zoom. Now, of course, with my coverage of Kendrick versus Drake, there has been videos in the past that still holds weight to this day. You know why? Because my GOAT, unlike Kendrick, is not lying and is actually bringing receipts. So Analytic Dreams video on Spotify to see the video along with the audio, because here's a breakdown on the one sinking fact for Kendrick that he refuses, even though he's dropped 1 million tracks, a dance track, a therapy track, all type of tracks dissing Drake, saying just blatant lies. Here's the one fact he has yet to address. And maybe after watching this snippet from my old video, you will understand why. Zoom out, zoom in. Let me zoom in right quick. Who is that? Is that this account? Dave Free? Oh, that's Dave Free. Okay, I'm tripping. Okay, that's the username. Hold up. Hold up.
I know that ain't who I think it is.
Hold up. Who is? Hold up. Give me 1 second. That's Kendrick's wife, fiance, by the way.
I know that ain't who I think it is.
Nah, it can't be. Hold up. Let's go to the username. Gotta be fake. Gotta be fake, right?
Who I think it is.
Okay, it's not fake. It's the same username. Nah, this gotta be fake. She not. Hold up. Isn't that Kendrick's fiance? Hold up.
I know that ain't who I think.
Nah, Drake must be lying. Why is his soon-to-be wife not following him on Instagram? And then why is she?
I know that ain't who I
Not the man talking about family.
Oh
My goodness, Kendrick fans, I know y'all in shambles. Not the man talking about family. Like that. But if I didn't break it down like that, y'all would just call Drake a liar, you know? And this is where this information, this old video comes full circle. Because my GOAT, even though he dropped something that has yet to be responded to, he dropped again simply for the fact that his true information that came with actual receipts that you can look up right here, Whitney Alford, Kendrick's fiance, go to following, type in Kendrick, and Kendrick has a profile, by the way. No results found. Type in Day Free, and she's following him. But shortly, it's not even this fact, because of course, you know, people go through troubles during their marriage. Kendrick brought this whole family aspect up, talking like he was holier than thou. That's why Drake said on Family Matters, which still to this day hasn't received the credit it deserved, because this man literally said, I heard that one of them little kids might be day free. Don't make it day freeze, because if your GM is your BM, secret BD, then this is all making plenty sense to me. Now, this is a PG podcast, so of course I'm going to leave out the curse words. But for those who are still confused on what Drake might be saying, if you don't know, Day Free is a producer and record executive, best known for creative partnership with rapper Kendrick Lamar. Really brings a double entendre to creative partnership, am I right? Anyways, co-founder of creative company PG Lane. Might sound familiar to Kendrick fans because guess what? Kendrick started the label PG Lane shortly after leaving Top Dog Entertainment, who he brought Baby Keem along with him to serve as a performer on PG Lane. Now, why is it so pivotal in this line? Because if your GM is your BM, secret BD. GM, which would be Day Free, because of course the co-founder of PG Lane and basically the producer, executive, creative partner for Kendrick Lamar. So basically the general manager. So that's why he says GM is Day Free. BM is of course Whitney Alford, as right here. And then BD, everybody knows that means baby daddy. I mean, if you listen to any Sexy Red song at this point, you should know what BD stands for. It's no longer blood disciples. It's now baby dad as far as the popular abbreviation BD. This is damaging for Kendrick simply for the fact that he has not responded to this evidence. Now, I know what you're saying. Well, Kendrick accused Drake of being a pedophile, which of course we have went to hell as far as the depths of nastiness where the nuclear bombs have been launched. But the only thing is, the nuclear bombs is figurative because it's through wordplay and records. Now, if the records aren't received by the masses in the way that they are intended, then of course, unlike real nuclear bombs, they will have no effect. If the public perception is just, we don't care what you're saying, the nuclear bombs have no effect, which is why he had to double back and basically say the same information again, which he also added a little tidbit, which is a little interesting on the route he took as far as talking about Kendrick and his past of being a kid. That was a little nasty, I might add, but this whole back and forth has become a whole nasty affair, which is why Jermaine in the first place apologized to Kendrick, because he got a call from Kendrick and Kendrick told him that, hey, I don't really have smoke with you, but this other guy you standing next to, it's really wartime with him. That's why J. Cole got out the way. Only reason I say still that we don't owe him an apology and he's still an indefinite timeout, hip hop timeout, I might add, is because he started the beef. He's the one who said on First Person Shooter, the Spider-Man meme is me and Drake, excluding Kendrick, because if you don't know the background, Kendrick was given a feature request to be on that track. He denied it, and now instead of bigging him up, which Jermaine technically did, the following lines after that said, the Spider-Man meme is me looking at Drake. What does that mean? It's excluding Kendrick, which implemented and left open the door for Kendrick to come in and say, forget the big three. It's just me. It's just big me, which is basically playing off of what Jermaine said. So he started that. I don't know why. I still have to clarify why Jermaine is still in hip hop timeout. But for people who don't really follow hip hop, they're a little confused on why we don't give J. Cole his apology at this point. Is because he started this entire beef. People think it started with Like That, when Like That literally holds so much credence because it's a response to Jermaine's verse on First Person Shooters. People lose that fact, but that's why I'm here to break it down for y'all. You know what I'm saying? All I ask is for a little 5-star ratings or whatever podcast platform you're listening on. So the Heart Part 6 from Drake is, of course, just harping on the fact that Dave Free is the baby dad of the boy that Kendrick's claiming. Now, of course, what's wrong with claiming your kids? Nothing, right? But when Kendrick starts to make tracks like Meet the Grams, talking like he's holier than thou, being some type of therapist, and then it comes out that he's literally in LA living a bachelor life because him and his ex-fiance currently, has been separated. Now, of course, they could always get back together, but the damning information is that when Family Matters came out by Drake, Whitney Alford was following Kendrick. She unfollowed Kendrick and still followed Dave Free, almost insinuating what Drake said was absolute true. Unlike Kendrick, where he's saying these pedophile allegations and nobody's coming out to claim that Drake's like, do y'all not understand how pivotal it would be for an underage person to come out and to be a victim in this point in time if they was really being sought after by an older man like Drake? Do y'all not understand how easy it would be to convict this man Drake if there was an actual case, right? Anyways, so Kendrick's line about really nasty stuff, Drake's just telling the truth. While it's also nasty, at least he has receipts and he's telling the truth. He's just not making up. I mean, if we just making up stuff, I mean, Drake could have went a bunch of different ways with Kendrick. As far as the women being an aspect, I already covered that as far as one of my videos. I think it was Meet the Grams, where I brought up the fact that Kendrick is and has been for quite some time hiding certain lawsuits where he settled because of him putting hands on women. You know, you have to say allegedly, but at this point in time, we have to bring it up because if we're talking about certain things where there's receipts, that's another one. As I think is this video, I have to go to my old videos because a lot of them I basically put it all in one video. So if you go on my wrap up of all of the different tracks, like if you just look up the track and type Analytic Dreams, you'll get a full in-depth breakdown of it. So I think it's Meet the Grams. Let me see. So Meet the Grams. Okay, I went over that. No, that wasn't that one. Must have been the Drake video. These guys have dropped so many tracks, it's hard to keep up with it. But there's a specific flyer I'm looking for. And I think it's... Oh, okay, I think I know which one it is. I think it's the... I titled it Stepdad. I need help. Let me see if it's this one. I think it's this one. Yeah, because oh, okay, here we go. Yeah, because, okay, so this right here, the whole planting a fake daughter just so Kendrick would take that information and run with it as if it was true, which it shows you that Drake is 10 steps ahead of Kendrick, but Kendrick fans just don't care. Like at this point, public perception is at a point where Drake is coming with actual receipts, laughing at the fact that Kendrick was fed misinformation and used it as it was fact, talking about your daughter that you're hiding in the world, and it turned out to be a blatant lie. And guess what? Nobody cares. Literally a track dropped after that where he never mentioned the daughter again in the Not Like Us track, where it was like a West Coast dance anthem and nobody cares. Everybody's just dancing to the pedo allegation and him not bringing up the daughter no more. So obviously at this point in time, we can acknowledge public perception. The masses are biased. Like, as a cover, people usually say the content creator who gets certain benefits from certain artists are biased, but literally, objectively, the masses are biased because they're getting real receipts from Drake where they can pinpoint where he's actually lying as far as having a paid actor, a paid actor being his daughter, and then using that to manipulate the mole in his camp to the point where Kendrick using that as fact, and then it's brought to light as it's just an absolute lie. But guess what? Kendrick fans still don't care. So anyways, going off of that, because that's also a part of the Heart Part 4. And then this is the Chinese restaurant where 7 minutes away from Drake where he got robbed, and Kendrick was talking about that like he couldn't be in that place ever. So Drake shot the video as far as Family Matters and shot a scene of him in the new Gun Ho restaurant, whatever it was called, the Asian restaurant, I forget what it was called. But what else? And then the whole pharmacy stuff, manipulation by Drake. These are basically playing off of the fact that Drake's not sleepy like everybody says, or he's not losing sleep like Cole is a line going back to Family Matters. And basically that's why these pills are there. I even zoomed. So this is an old video. This is me going over Kendrick. What was the track that I went over? Was it Kendrick Like That? No. They Not Like Us. I think this was Meet the Grams. I think it's Meet the Grams. I forget. Kendrick's been lying so much on different tracks, I forget. But anyways, this is the cover art that everybody was saying it was exposing Drake, even though Drake was using this cover art to expose Kendrick. So Kendrick fans still don't care, right? Anyways, and then as you can see, Nate and Chosen is where Pharrell used to work. He used to shop for jewelry, and that's where Drake line comes into play about if you want to take up for Pharrell, then come take his legacy out of my house, talking about how he bought all of Pharrell's chains and he has them in his place, right? Let's keep going. The Ozempic pills to the right is literally a direct shot at Rick Ross because of him using Ozempic to help and to expedite his weight loss process. So that's why all of these names on these prescriptions are the way it is, because Drake is poking fun at other people. It's not Kendrick having all of this super villain and detailed Sherlock Holmes information all round up into one picture. Drake sent him this and he used it as if he was the one who put this together. The shirt literally says Shorty Collection. So the shirt is going at Kendrick. The Nate and Chosen is going at Pharrell. The pills is referring back to the line where Drake said, Cole losing sleep over this is not me. The Maybach gloves, that's Rick Ross. Bottom right, the Ozempic pills, that's going at Rick Ross and poking fun at his weight loss journey being helped by Ozempic. And then, did I zoom in on the receipt? I think I did. Let me see. Okay, well, you can kind of see it. In the top left, Popular Jewelry Corp is a shot at A$AP Rocky where he used to work. So all of this, obviously, I've done my research as far as looking at the different information that the rappers have been putting in front of us. Like, if you think I'm biased for Drake, just go back and listen to my review that I put out today about Metro Boomin, the BBO Drizzy review and breakdown. That gave us so much information as far as about Drake that we may have not known. Drake was saying the hard ER. Drake was talking about Toronto slang being corny. All type of receipts that we could look at from Metro Boomin that's condemning Drake. So I brought that up. Kendrick is just saying blatant lies. So it's not even fair. Like, I can't even bring up stuff from Kendrick's side because this man is faking. And the only thing that people said was on his side as far as his cover art being so intricate and masterful is Drake poking fun at other people. Kendrick thought it was basically to help him, and the whole time he was being bamboozled, hoodwinked, straight up manipulated. You know, he almost predicted his fate on Meet the Grams? No, he predicted his fate on Euphoria when he was whispering, talking about Drake being a mass manipulator because he manipulated Kendrick. So you predicted your own fate, buddy. So anyways, let's keep going. So going back to the whole daughter thing, this is the hidden child. Kendrick fans was like rejoicing because it was like, we finally found Drake's hidden daughter, only to find out it was a plant used so that Kendrick would use her as real information, even though he was fed false information, right? He used her as a fake actor to act like his daughter so that the mole in his camp, because Drake still doesn't know who the mole in his camp was. He was just trying to figure out who it was. So he started to plant like false information to see who would leak it. This was one of them. And that's why Kendrick ran with it like it was true. Like he was just revealing some deep, dark secret from Drake, even though it was a blatant lie. Let's see if Kendrick focuses on that and actually takes the L on it. Because Drake hasn't said nothing yet that was just blatantly called out as being false. Like Day Free, Pathway, as far as him going at the specifics. How come Day Free on Whitney Alford ain't came out to say anything about it? Almost like because it's true, right? Anyways, let's keep going. So with this post, this is going back to how Kendrick acts like he's holier than thou, but his fiance the whole time has been putting out cryptic Instagram captions, basically talking like something may be happening at home. I don't want to put nothing on Kendrick because, of course, what Drake is saying as far as him putting his hands on women and the way he said it in Family Matters, I don't know if it went over people's heads or what, but he said when you put your hands on your girl, it's a self-defense because she's bigger than you, which is another short joke, but also contains another heavy bomb as far as Kendrick being pro-black, a holier than thou type image, but and behind closed doors, his fiance is putting out these help me type posts. So anyways, let's keep going. So I'm so glad Drake dropped again. Oh, and then I zoomed in on Popular Jewelry. I was probably talking about A$AP Rocky and how he used to work there. But I'm so glad Drake. If y'all heard that, that was my phone. I'm definitely not editing that out. So so basically, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I love how Drake dropped the Heart Part 4 again, or the Heart Part 6, to play off of the Heart series that Kendrick puts out, right? And the thing about it is Drake denying the allegations of having a secret daughter, but also refuting the public and the double and triple down that Kendrick has done, calling him a pedophile, is basically doing what everybody wanted him to do. Because everybody was saying Drake's out here claiming he don't have a BBL, claiming he don't have a secret daughter, but he hasn't addressed the pedophile rumors. Well, obviously he was waiting for him to put it in raps. Because if he would have put a post out like he did for the blackface image when Pusha T went at him, everybody would have killed him. Literally. That's why I'm saying that Drake just simply can't win in the public perception. Because whatever Drake does, people are just going to look at and say, you know what? It still forget you. Like, you know what I mean? At this point, it's like, hey, even if he is correct in everything he's saying, we don't care. We want you to go down, and it's the Floyd Mayweather effect. Somebody's been winning for so long that everybody and their mama is basically looking at this man and telling everybody and their friends that we are celebrating the downfall of Drake. Everybody made fun of Kanye for saying that him, which he was lying as well, him, Future, and Metro came together for the, what was it called? He basically said that we got together and we was excited for the downfall of Drake. I forget how he phrased it, but basically he said one of the most corniest lines I ever heard in life as far as him going at Drake, right? And, oh, the elimination. Yeah, that corny stuff. That was the corniest line I've ever heard from Kanye West ever. He said they all got together because of them being excited for the elimination of Drake. So Drake putting out the Heart Part 4 and all of these lines is pinpointing and dissecting what Kendrick said. But notice how The response to Family Matters addressed nothing as far as the heavy information that was dropped. Kendrick is just acting like it didn't happen, and he's dropping LA anthems, which, to give him credit, LA, the West Coast, they really are sticking together because they're not caring what Drake says and what type of receipts he's showing. They're just like, we're on Kendrick's side, and that's that. So I respect it, you know? As far as regional bias, I respect it, you know? So anyways, what else? I think that was basically it. The whole going at Kendrick because of his child upbringing, that's an interesting aspect that he went with. You haven't seen okay, so basically he follows that up by, oh no, I'm trying to find the other part. So when he's going at Kendrick, basically saying that my jacket, no, I think he talked about his mom. Let me see if I can find it. My mom came over today and I was like, which that's another thing. I ain't gonna lie. I feel like Drake a little, you know, he's construing and misconstruing the ways that him and his mom is interacting. But how can you say that as a person looking from the outside in? So I'm just gonna act like everything he's saying about his mom is true, right? Do y'all really think she put that post up talking about why is Rick Ross going at you? Like, y'all really think she's that tapped in? But anyways, Drake said, wait a second. That's that one record where you say you got, and then trigger warning. He says, you say you got molested. Ah, forget me. I just made the whole connection. This about to get so depressing. This is trauma from your own confession. Basically insinuating that because of Kendrick's upbringing, with him getting, you know what, I'm not saying the word again, but that is why he's projecting onto Drake the pedophile allegations. And he even went as far as to say, I think he said it right here. Can I spell? No, I can't spell. Oh, anyways, it pulled it up anyway. So he said that the whole, a daughter, 11 years old, he already talked about that. I want to get into the kid part. I swear he said kid in this rap. Maybe I'm tripping. You haven't seen the kid in 6 months. I think he switched from that. That's why you acting. Why does my phone keep going off? They acting like it's too aggressive. Never been. Okay, here we go. So, so basically, Drake said, I never been with no one underage, but now I understand why this the angle that you really mess with. Just for clarity, I feel disgusted. I'm too respected. If I was messing with young girls, I promise I'd have been done arrested. I guess that's the rap flow, because in English this makes no sense. If I was messing with young girls, I promise I'd have been done arrested. I'm way too famous for this expletive you just suggested, but that's not the lesson. Clearly there's a deeper message. So basically he refuted the whole pedophile rumors in a great way over the track, because a lot of people is trying to say that it held some credence simply for the fact that Drake wasn't directly refuting them, which I agree with. You know, he said the whole, if you don't have proof, then shut your mouth or whatever in Family Matters, as far as like if you don't have proof, then you're just talking. But in this one, in Family Matters, he followed up that line basically saying I'm not a rat or something like that. But this one, he strictly went at the age, the sex offender and the pedophile rumors, right? And Drake kept going by naming himself, saying Drake is not a name that you're going to see on no sex offender list. Easy does it. You mentioned an A minor, but expletives got a B sharp, and tell the fans who was it. You thought you left D flat, E major. I slit your throat with the razor. And do Rick Ross air like that one flight from Malaysia. If you don't know, Rick Ross's plane unfortunately got clipped as far as his wing and had an emergency landing. Pretty scary stuff, and I'm not gonna connect it to anything, because that's where you get into legal trouble. I'm not no Tasha K, but let's just say it's very inconspicuous how that happened. Let's just leave it at that. As far as the events following Rick Ross sending a diss track towards Drake. Let's just leave it at that. So, anyways, what else is there to get into? Because that was basically it. I mean, a lot of people were trying to go at Drake with the pedophile rumors, which I kept saying that was the main angle. Like, if Kendrick wanted some credence, he would have pulled the videos up that technically wasn't sexual intercourse, but it was him messing around with certain minors, as far as the Detroit 2013 situation, as far as the 2010 situation, as far as the Kylie Jenner Sweet 16 party situation. All of those is just him interacting with certain underage people being 24. But it was never like sexual intercourse. They never came out, said anything about him. And now in today's age, there's been no interactions like that since like 2013 or 2016. Yeah. Since 2016 has been nothing like that. So for Kendrick to harp on that, he would have had to bring up those videos instead of recent, because the way he's making Drake look like he's the second coming of Harvey Weinstein, I just think is completely outrageous, especially if he's just blatantly lying, which it definitely seems like. And not seems like, he is lying. If he's not lying, drop the receipts and I will gladly cover him and go at Drake, because at this point you're just lying, my brother. And until you address Day Free, this is going to be the winning track for me, because Family Matters had a subject matter which you didn't refute. The Heart Part 6 has a subject matter which you are not refuting. So if you either Whitney Alford, Day Free, one of them got to come out and dispel what Drake is saying, because at the end of the day, my brother, as a wannabe therapist, as a black enthusiast, the whole putting hands on your woman and the whole Day Free aspect is not looking good, because you have yet to respond to these claims, and you've been responding to these tracks with the quickness and still haven't addressed anything he's saying. Like, Drake would drop something saying, hey, Day Free, and you put your hands on your woman. Kendrick would just say, you're a pedophile. So now, finally, Drake has responded and said, okay, I'm not a pedophile. You're never going to see me on no sex offender list. Now what? Now let's talk about Day Free. Now let's talk about you putting hands on your woman. Like, actual names that I'm dropping, instead of you just being like, oh, your homies. What's the drop?
Yeah, the nigga you be hanging with. The nigga you be hanging with.
No longer is that going to work, my brother. I just dropped the name. I need you to either refute the claims I just made or declare the winner to be Drake, which Kendrick's never going to do. So he's just going to keep running from the fact that Drake just completely tore him apart in the Heart Part 6, which is a playoff of the Heart Part series that Kendrick's been doing for quite some time. So with that being said, there's really nothing else to get into. Click my link tree in my bio. Let me know on one of my social medias. Who do you think is winning this battle? And honestly, why do you think the masses, as far as the public perception, why do you think they don't care about Drake coming with receipts? Do you think they just want Drake to lose no matter what he says? Or is there something I'm missing for why they keep saying that Kendrick is winning this rap battle?